All right, I think we're live. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for waiting. This is another stream of what do we call ourselves?
Sigma Star Wars.
Sigma as a joke is so bad, but it's so true. We are the Sigma boy. Um, Discussing it's myself, Dash Star, and the illustrious Star Wars philosophy.
How you doing?
That's what we got. How are you going?
Good, bro. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. If you don't know, Star Wars Philosophy is one of the major players over at Twitch for Battlefront, actually. And he and I have been playing SWOTOR a little bit recently, and I don't think he likes being out of his depth as much because when I'm running in Battlefront 2 with him, it's like a small child hiding in a war zone, and you're carrying me to safety. Legitimately.
Well, at least you're barking orders. You're more like a coach. You're like, hit them, come here.
Oh, squealing, like, get this guy off me and help me. Yeah, we did that. Anyway, good morning to you all. Oh, Praxium, what's up? That's another Aussie from the server. He just joined the SWOTOR Guild, which is awesome. That should be linked in the description. Anyway, today's stream is to ask and answer, is Darth Maul Shadow Lord, not Shadow Hunter, really peak Star Wars? Because the community seems to be, I wouldn't say fractious, but there is some heated debates, which I may have got myself in hot water by daring to put it as an 8 out of 10. And I got rinsed by the community, so much so that philosophy came in and it was like, dude, you've done this to yourself. But we'll get into that. So first off, let's look at something just quickly. And I think that you're going to appreciate it. Well, not that. The thumbnail. That was what got me in trouble, saying the truth.
The truth.
People don't like the truth. 100% Rotten Tomatoes.
So is that like all up? Because I can see, oh, that's all the other shows. Okay, got you. Yeah. So like literally there is no negative comments now. Is that 100% verified or is that 100% audience score?
It's a distinction. And hey, Dana Taku, what's going on? I'm going to try and say hi to everybody mid-sentence as I'm talking about this because I lost my mind. When I saw this, I thought there's no world in which Maul Shadow Lord is 100%, Rebels 98, Visions 98, A New Hope 94, but Empire is 93. Empire is 93. And supposedly what this score is, because I lost my mind. As a fan, I thought this is rigged. It's over. Supposedly, this is a critics score where it is rated good or above. But I know that's what somebody said to me on Twitter. We can look at my X account because this is where I'm getting rinsed because I said, oh, here's what I like, here's what I don't like about the show. I'll give it an 8 out of 10. It could move up or down on other episodes. We'll talk about why, but I couldn't make sense of this is 100. There is like 100%, 10 out of 10, 100% of critics went, this is the tits, but Empire 93. Some guys go,
Is that a new rating system?
I think it's an industry scam. I think that Disney infiltrates these sites. I don't even know if they own Rotten Tomatoes, but something is incredibly wrong. When you look at the top 4 of these shows, the kid shows, well, the top 2, not Andor, love of God, and they're pretty new comparative to the other ones. Like even the Clone Wars is 93%. Force Awakens, the fact The Last Jedi is 91%. Now, I don't actually believe the people who told me that it's just critics saying that this is like it's just someone saying it's good or above. I think this is the actual score, and I'll look it up now. What are your thoughts, dude?
Well, if it's just the critics, obviously I think there's an element of, I guess sucking up to the show and the IP if it's just purely critics. But because I'm interested to know, like, is it good or above? So, like, if it's good, and that's like the base bar that you set it at, where does that start? Does that start at 50%, 60%? Because good is, for me, if a show's good, for me, that's around a 70%. You know what I mean? If I were to say a show was good, that's like a 70%, like a 7 out of 10. And it's in the popcorn, yeah.
See, 91, and that matches up, which means this is the actual tomato meter. These people are making things up. And it's not like I didn't say that it's not good, which is the strange part. But people, this is my belief, and tell me if I'm wrong. I believe that when we are in a Star Wars drought, it's like a man seeing water, an oasis, and he gets to drink for the first time. It is the greatest drink ever. And we've been in such a drought that getting something consistent and good like Maul, people are just frothing. They can't handle any type of critique based on, anything. They just go, no, this is an attack against the show. They close their ears and start screaming bloody murder.
Yeah, they're absolutely like I was thinking about this before because obviously like Andor as a live action was so critically well received on mass. I mean, like the Andor fans are pretty intense if you critique it. But that's just the internet. I think on an animation level, like we saw Tales of the Jedi, and that was like amazing, and a lot of people love that. But then when I looked at animations like obviously things like Tales of the Empire, that wasn't really that good. I looked at the last Clone Wars season. People might come at me for this, but we only got like what was it 7 episodes, and like 4 of them were about a side plot with Ahsoka and those 2 sisters. So like I thought there was a lot of wasted potential there. Conclusion was satisfying, but I mean, you didn't give it a bad score. You said it was an 8 out of 10, and I think that's a really, really fair score for the first 2 episodes. That's actually good. That's actually a good score.
Right?
That actually shows that you enjoyed a lot of it, and I think all you shared was it wasn't even perhaps on the side of objectivity. You were just giving more your opinion of why you lost sort of immersion because you said like the show's rated M, which is pretty amazing for a Star Wars animation.
But may I interject just quickly?
Mhm.
I'm very invested in the characters, like the Jedi Master. He was really cool. The relationship, Devin, the young Jedi, every single one of Captain Lawson, I really liked them, and I thought Filoni's at peak Filoni. But as not a huge fan of Filoni, peak Filoni's still a kid. He and in his pocket, he's a kid animation show. And I wish Disney would stop putting the onus on him instead of other artists, like giving it to Tony Gilroy. Andor to do more EU kind of stuff really spoke to me. I want Star Wars for everyone, so I want more artists, not just Dave Filoni pulling toys out of the toy box consistently. He should stay in the kids' realm. But when people push him and he's the only one making shit, he does this thing where he borders between kid and adult, and it comes out weird. It's not committing to the Maul that I want to see. And to your point, did you notice Captain Lawson's droids were droids and Maul was tearing up droids, not people, because he's confined by animation and the M rating. I don't need R rating. I don't need freaking Maul to, get his hand up someone's butt and work their mouth like a puppet when they're dead. But I can feel the constraints, and I can feel the fact Filoni does this thing where he tries to please everybody, and I don't want him to do it. Having said that, I think it is his greatest work so far for me. It was darker. The music was in the pocket. The characters drew me in, but it's still, think about this. Every incarnation that we've seen of Maul since The Phantom Menace in media and TV and whatever has been animation. And I don't believe that does the savagery of Maul from what we've seen in Shadowhunter or the comics or whatever. It can't do injustice by nature because he's bound by the limitations of Filoniverse. And so he's kind of hogging the character. Does that make sense?
It it does. I mean, like I saw in a few of the trailers with the Padawan that she does slice some stormtroopers. So I'm not sure if they're going to show the perhaps dismemberment like they would of droids. So like to your point, like yes, it can take a bit of the darkness out of it, but I think also is it Filoni's problem? Like not problem, sorry. Is it really him, or for example, is the constraint Disney in that regard?
Ooh.
Like because like if we're making it really really dark, it's just like how dark can we make it? Like because it is rated M in the trailers. I'm sure I saw the Jedi like cut up some stormtroopers, like they go through them and things like versus what we saw in Rebels. We didn't really see lightsabers going because that was completely Disney XD for kids. Perhaps they have to make it a tiny bit lighthearted. Because I think I saw one of the comments on your Twitter where you were talking about the sort of like the jokiness of the lightheartedness of the
Yeah,
droids. But I mean,
Praxian brought that up.
yeah, I mean, there always was a little bit of joking, I think, from droids and stuff like with 3PO and things like that, which is fair. But I think the theme that they're going for, it's just like, I think one question I've always asked myself is like, if it's constantly really dark and grim without any like sort of light moments, do we get
Levity.
fatigue as do we get fatigue as an audience? Like, it's just too dark? Like, does it need a little bit of spark and humor here and there to level
Okay.
it out?
Oh, I understand where you're coming from, and I love a joking droid as much as anybody, but I was pulled out consistently by Steve Aoki, who's great, from IT Crowd. Funnily enough, Matt Berry from IT Crowd voiced the droid from Book of Boba Fett. Weird to pick that up. But anyway, I digress. I like the jokiness of droids, but it's not thematic. Like, it's not a trope that has to be religiously. In a universe where anything's possible, does that mean every single droid, when they appear on screen, has to slapstick tell jokes? No matter what the context. Some character is having a huge funeral, and then 3PO is like, "Oh dear," and falls into the hole. Actually, that would be funny. But to my point, it's a universe. You don't have to be bound by tropes like that pull you out. I don't understand that argument that droids have to be slapstick comedy at all times. There could be a murderous droid. Like, I brought up the example and said, "Oh, droids are always funny." I'm like, "Oh yeah, the torture droid in Jabba's palace was a laugh riot when he was putting the steam press down." Like, there are moments in droids that don't have to be comedic relief. The argument in a universe doesn't make sense by definition.
No, you're right. It doesn't make sense by definition. Like, they don't always have to do it. It probably just stems from them trying to have some familiarity within the universe. For example, like how George always said, it's like poetry, it rhymes. Maybe they're trying to find these little things that are common to Star Wars, and maybe they landed on the
Look,
droids.
when the master, I really liked her master, his superhero drop when he saves the civilians versus attacks Maul, same way Yoda did in episode 2. That poetry that rhymed, chef's kiss. I loved it. What's his name, Two Bits or whatever, Captain Lawson's droid.
Two boots.
What I don't even know if that's the guy from Skeleton Crew. Again, comedic droid, British guy.
Yeah.
Like, they just keep doing it. I can handle him having comedy. I thought it was a bit weird, him getting a commiserating with a coffee. I thought that's okay, fine. But then when I felt like Maul's droid was like going off its tits, going when it was doing its job,
Yeah.
I was like, okay, this is layer on, like, not all droids when they get on camera is like, you better be funny right now while you're trying to murder. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just saying, I can take some, but I don't need every single droid. The slapstick, like the levity thing. And it's like I said in my review, Steven Stanton, I believe his manager said it to me in like 2016, was sitting down for dinner and he's like, "Hey, I was already talking about more adult Star Wars because I was like 28 at the time." And he said, "Hey, you ever notice Filoni in the Clone Wars, when he does a really dark episode, someone gets beheaded or something, he'll do like an arc of lighter episodes afterwards? That's because he was beholden, because it was still a kid's show technically." What I think the crux of the argument, and you better start talking for 5 minutes instead of me for a second, is that I think that people who grew up with the Clone Wars, which I grew up, I think I was 18 when the Micro series came out in 2003, and I loved it at 18. But I was, it's 2008 when the new show came out. It wasn't my childhood, and I think because this is an extension of people's childhood, they may take it more personally, or the nostalgia may hit hard. Because again, 8 out of 10 is a solid fucking score, but I'm not going to say this is a 10 out of 10 show at this point, or the first 2 episodes are 8 and then the rest can be 10. I don't care. You know what I'm saying?
No. Like, even for myself, I think 8 out of 10 is completely fair. It's probably something that I'd give it myself. On the droids, like, it feels like they're probably following like a character pattern. And what I mean by that is with the light side ones, like you said, sort of British, because was a Matt Smith in Ahsoka doing the her droid, I can't remember his name. and obviously I think they're trying to keep the theme of this one. And I remember the Imperial droids, how they speak Imperial, and even in Rebels and things like that, they have that serious undertone when they're speaking that Imperial language, and so you don't really get any sort of comedy from them, obviously, because they're trying to keep a theme of seriousness. And these guys are like outlaws. They're they're like just scoundrels. So I think maybe they tried to make it more unhinged, but came across comedic. Or do you think it was like straight away, like it was meant to be comedic and slapstick for like that small little thing that has like Embo's helmet on, the one that you said that ran around going "Marr" to people? It's like it feels like they tried to make him unhinged.
Yeah, but
Yeah, it came across funny.
I feel like Filoni played Chopper and he loved it so much. I feel like Filoni is creating the Filoni verse, his version of whatever he's learnt from George. And as somebody who loves the EU and the broader side, the adult side of Star Wars, I feel bound inextricably to Filoni's vision. And it's like, okay, I love Quentin Tarantino, some of his films. I don't want Star Wars from the Quentin Tarantino lens 24/7. I start to get fatigue. I watch all of it so much that it feels like, again, Filoni in his toy box is too heavy-handed with some things and has too much of a kid sensibility for a show that should be darker. And if Tony Gilroy, who made Andor, handled it. I mean, sure, K2SO is comedic. Actually, that's a pretty good example where he is still comedic. I feel for the bulk of it, not every droid would have to be funny. Like it's not just this hard and fast rule. The way that I likened it on X is this, and this is how I see things in my head. George Lucas is God, and he created the universe, and I admire the beauty of the universe. But I didn't become a fan of Star Wars hardcore till I was 16. And so the EU, I Jedi, the novel, really opened it up for me. And so I see other artists like Tony Gilroy, because Andor felt more EU to me, come in and paint. So Tony Gilroy is like Michelangelo, painting the Sistine Chapel, in the name of God. George Lucas is God, fine. But I want to see the other artists' brushstrokes, not just God Jr., let's go. I don't know why I'm using this analogy with Dave Filoni's Jesus, but that's not the core of Star Wars I love. Now, it's fine if everybody else, 9 out of 10 people don't agree with me. I can only express what I want as a dude who's an adult who is looking for more adult Star Wars. And I'm fatigued by the Filoniverse waiting 3 years per season. And I'm just like, this is an 8 out of 10 show. It's really good. But if I had to choose between a darker, more mature Maul and a like an animation, and I don't think all animation is kids show. Let's get this straight. They could make an anime Maul tomorrow that was R18 plus and blow our socks off. I'm just saying that Filoni has consistently held this character in a very narrow lane, and it's not 100% for me. It's an 8 out of 10, which is great for Filoni. I think Filoni's at his peak, but it's still not what I would consider the best avenue for more. I want to see a broader depth of Star Wars with more painters, not just Filoni's vision with a new coat of paint. Even though I actually found the aesthetic gorgeous, I really liked how they put it. Almost looked like concept art or matte painting over the top of Clone Wars. I thought that was great. People don't like it, but that's like Rebels sabers piss me off because they look like Ralph McQuarrie little toothpicks.
Yeah. Yep. No, I'm going to have a hot take here.
Yes. Oh, I made this too big over your head. Let me get.
That's all right.
Wait. Do you want to read this first, and then we'll do the hot take because I can't. I got to take it off the screen.
If Star Wars decided to make an Outrider series, who would have played Dash Rendar? To me, I think it would be John Berthel or of Punisher fame. I don't even know how to answer that because I don't know who John Berthel is.
You don't know who the Punisher is?
I think I saw it when I was a kid, but yeah, I wasn't really a big fan of the Punisher. So.
No, not Thomas Jane, the current Punisher, Daredevil.
Nah, I'm not into that. Yeah, I know. That's also a hot take. Sorry, guys.
Wolf of Wall Street. Wolf of Wall Street. He's very Italian looking. You'll know him. Is that racial because you're Italian? That I'll just.
That's funny as. Nah. Yeah, no, I couldn't answer that. What would be how would you answer that, Dash?
I love John Bernthal. I think that he would be a great. I don't know. You see, the problem with Dash Rendar is he's kind of generic scoundrel, 90s a little bit,
Yeah.
horrible, horrible tires on his arms. I'm sure that you've got him with all the stars and all the goodies on Galaxy of Heroes, don't you, Sweepy?
Yeah, I do.
I knew it. He's got every
Yeah, I do,
character.
yeah.
I friended him, and every night before bed, I play Galaxy of Heroes, and your heroes carry me through all the battles that I can't get through. It's fucking amazing.
Oh, that's hectic.
Number one, thank you, Grand Illuminist 5511 for the very generous donation. We appreciate you. I think John Bernthal would be great. I think we need a grounded, gritty version, and he could pull it off. He wouldn't aesthetically look like the normal Dash Rendar, but I think Dash Rendar is a little funny looking. He was very 90s in the aesthetic, but I'd love to see it.
It's actually really funny. I have because we got some of the boys from my server watching right now, and they're all messaging me going, send me photos of John Berthel right now, going, this is the guy, dude. You know this guy.
You know him. Don't play with me. Oh, you're
But,
wearing your server's t-shirt. Show everybody. You designed this lightsaber.
Do you know what? I did, and I didn't actually wear this for the podcast. I was actually already wearing this like a loser at home, and then Dash was just like, we're doing a podcast, and I was just like, this is going to look really funny right now. But yeah, this is actually my pajama tonight. But yeah, I designed the saber, and in Orabesh it just has my channel name SWP1 in the middle of it, like a big old nerd.
I've done it again. I've screwed you over with that comment. I'm sorry. It is a great shirt.
Thank you. But I was gonna say my hot take. So it was actually from this comment right here from Star Force One. It's it's calling it Andor level. So my hot take was like, I thought Andor was good, and people are going to come at me. It didn't feel very Star Warsy to me. Like it lacked a little bit of that magic. Now, I didn't say it was a shit show. I said it was a good show. I liked it, especially the final season. I thought it was amazing. Yeah, come at me. So I remember I made one tweet once where I was just kind of like, I think in season 1, where I was like, it's good, but I'm bored. And then I just got attacked, and people said I had like no brain and I didn't know art and all the horrible things. Pitchforks, everyone. Yeah, exactly. I got roasted by pitchforks. I think like what you're asking for is obviously like a really, really dark show, and Filoni brings too much of a lighthearted element to it when it's meant to be serious. I think perhaps like, are we constrained then by animation? Would something like a live action then more service that darkness?
Look at Mandalorian. Filoni, to me, and I think that Shadow Lord is his best work. I think, to me, the longer that his characters are on screen, a lot of the time, the worse they do. Look at Ahsoka. Live action was the worst thing that could happen to a great character. God only knows with Embo in The Mandalorian and Grogu. Now, you can blame Disney, you can blame whatever, but there's also, to your point, I just think that I want more artists. And this is where you and I butt heads a little, and not in a screw you way, but you're right and so am I. I don't think that anybody who loves what I don't love, I still see them as fans. There's no right, wrong, left, or right. It is just, you're a fan. But as an EU fan, first and foremost, that got me into the universe, playing Jedi Outcast more than the movies. I would take the EU over the George Lucas movies, all the TVs, everything combined. I would take that in a heartbeat. The books, the audio books, the games, the comics, easy. So Andor did feel a bit out of pocket, but that's because the expanded universe, as definition, as a universe, isn't George's Star Wars. Filoni's is a simulacrum. It's an emulation. It is a version of George's Star Wars with Filoni's stamp all over it. And my God, does he love to get his grubby mitts on characters and never put them out of the toy. Like, he pulls them out of the toy box and goes, these are mine now. And he never stops. But to his credit, he does keep it very George. I don't need everything to be George or poetry. I want to see the universe. I would rather 12 shows a year. There could be a romance show. There could be a kids show. There could be an action one. There could be a horror they promised. everybody gets something. But instead, Filoni, the poor bastard, has to cater to the adults. He has to cater to the kids. He has to cater to Disney, do George's vision. And that's what I'm saying. He tries to be everything, and it comes across a little bit wishy-washy, nothing. And I can feel it. And I'm like, just get more artists. When Kathleen Kennedy, bless her soul, said that people are getting Star Wars fatigue, that was the most detrimental statement I had heard that Disney seemed to agree with, because we need more Star Wars than ever, and or prove that, not less. That's it. And I think that so that there would be a show where you, Adriano, would not watch ever. You'd be like, oh, this doesn't feel like George Lucas. I remember Stupendous Wave messaged me and he's like, Andor doesn't feel very Star Wars at all. And I was like, you're right. It was I think it was the moment when they had that disco scene that really sucked. I was like, please let it end. But I said to him, you're right, but I'm loving seeing all the planets. Even when I didn't like the show, I'm loving seeing the universe open up, and we're seeing all these planets from the EU and the fucking French. What were they? The Gore? Oh my God, there's that French planet.
Gorman.
Crazy. Oh my, they were just Frenchmen. They were berets.
Yeah,
they were response.
Well, that's because wasn't that literally almost a 1-for-1 from The Miserables?
Yes, but I respect that. I want Star Wars. I wouldn't care if people just took the greatest cinema of all time, like have a George pillar, which is the main shows and stuff. Like keep that George to the core, and the ancillary expanded universe, the new EU call it, have Les Mis in Star Wars, have Beauty and the Beast in Star Wars. I don't care. Everything fits because it's a universe. I would love a whole menagerie, plethora of shows that just cater to everyone. And but I think they have a branding problem where they're too afraid to go, this is Star Wars Dark, this is Star Wars Kids, this is Star Wars Romance. If they just branded it right and you looked at the columns and go, oh, Star Wars Romance, not for me. But the ladies could watch 50 Shades of, I nearly said Mortis, but that is the worst. Actually, that is the worst place for a romance. The son and the daughter. The father tries to pull them apart.
No, look, I think I agree. I think with Star Wars fatigue, I think that was just Kathy trying to keep a little bit of face there, to just trying to hide the scent of fecal matter she was producing out, to be honest. I don't think there was a lot of I don't think Star Wars fatigue is a thing. I think oversaturation can happen if, for example, if there were just shows and stories that went nowhere. Like if they were if one almost became like a Star Wars sitcom, for example, and things like that. I think if you branch out too far without solid storytelling and have a lot of diverse sort of themes, it might get overdone. But I think to your point, it can get overdone. I think it's
look at the EU though. Look at the books. Look at the games. Remember, okay. Here's a quick story. I'm going to keep this 30 seconds. I need more philosophy. In 1998 or 99, I believe it was around then. Remember the golden age of Star Wars games? Jedi Outcast, Battlefronts, KOTORs. Do you know where they sprung forth from?
Where?
LucasArts decided to stop manhandling everything, publishing everything themselves, and they got a new president. And until 2005, this new guy said, let's get in the publishing game. Let's get all of the greatest artists, give them the IP, keep them accountable, and let them go. And in 2005, when Battlefront 2 came out, a new CEO, I think his name was Jim Ward, came in and he said, kids like shooters these days, Call of Duty, just do Battlefront. And he killed everything until 2008 when Force Unleashed came out and it went more internal, and then EA got it. So I am a huge proponent of give the artists the license. It's a license to print money, let them do what they want. Pablo fucking Hidalgo can sit there and tell them what's canon, what's not, or what's, kosher. I don't care. That can be Disney's job. They could give fans tools to make their own animations or whatever. Give everybody the tools and just say, make sure it doesn't hit these boundaries, and we would have a golden age. But they keep on giving it to Dave Filoni or this small cadre of people, and then when things don't hit, they clam up. They go, "We just spent $1 billion." Go into PR mode, blame the fans, call them names, say that we need less Star Wars, and then they just rinse and repeat the cycle. And then all the goodwill just goes out the window. This is my belief. I don't know. Critique it, please, because this is what I genuinely believe.
No, like I agree. I actually agree with a lot of that. In saying that, like I think at this point in time with Star Wars, where we have reached that point of almost apathy with the fans. So I think they play it sort of safe instead of just doing something completely outrageous. That would probably be my thought process if I was there and I was trying to do something strategic. It's just like, let's do something that'll sort of slap with, a big chunk on the audience and sort of like bring some faith back. Because what you're saying is before with the games was good, like when you get a lot of artists in there. But there's one thing I do want to say about that is that those games, they all felt like Star Wars. And like even though they told those stories, they still had that sort of magic, even if it was to the music and things like that. Although the themes were very, very different and different storylines, it still actually felt like a very, very solid Star Wars universe. And that's something that I do want to see. For example, if we do get a lot of artists in there, and let's not do like, for example, a perfect example is giving Leslie Headland a show. She's a different artist theoretically, and she did sort of like her flavor of it. And we all looked back and went, "What the fuck was that?" You know what I mean? So like, that's one thing that I look at and go, we have to be careful of people like Leslie, not giving an artist too much sort of power. Like to your point, which was, we have to keep it in the confines. Like you said, maybe Pablo or Disney have to control what's canon. But I think not so much the characters, but the theming is a big importance. I think they have to keep like on track, and also they have to be very, very careful with the story to like not break canon, like having more Force Jesuses pop up like Osha and May or whatever they're called and stuff like that. So I think there's an absolute space where artists can come and flex it, but they have to be aligned with a theme. I think they have to have a touch of what George created and then go with it, but stay within the lane of let's not break things as we go along. And I think that's what we've been seeing lately is they sort of break almost their own canon. People might come at it like this. I think one of the biggest detriments of the Ahsoka show was Sabine becoming a Jedi for some reason and never exhibiting any sort of force powers. See, that sort of stuff takes me out of a show completely. When something canonically is broken or when they've broken something that was good. She was a good character on her own as a Mandalorian. She didn't need to be a Jedi. It's like they're trying to make everyone special and cater to a lot of people.
I agree. Look, my favorite story audiobook is Red Harvest, Sith Academy horror. I'm not even a horror guy in real life, though The Thing is one of my favorite movies, but it feels Star Wars. KOTOR, somehow, 1,000 years before, whatever it is, Star Wars. Yet Acolyte didn't feel like full Star Wars. It felt like Temu's Star Wars. So there is a through line, no matter what the product. I agree. There is, and maybe it's we can't articulate it. Maybe Lucas Arts or film or whatever have a document because they kept it cohesive for that whole time. So I think that could be absolutely, and that's a great point that you've put out, that there needs to be a Star Wars through line, even no matter which genre. But I think that they should give it to more artists and to keep them in the confines of what is a Star Wars, not have a contrarian like Ryan Johnson make something and say, I want to piss off half the fan base and subvert everything for the thrill of it. I think that is absolutely a phenomenal point. And also people to respect it. I feel like new media, there is this strange thing where they get, I think George R.R. Martin once said the problem with remakes and remasters and people getting IPs that they didn't create is they think they know better than the original creator, and it seldom goes well. And I feel that they never make anything better. And I feel like the respect, like I didn't love episode 2, especially of the prequels that came out, but I loved how much EU, how many talented artists, like the guy who wrote the Bane novels, heard of Darth Bane in the book for was it Revenge of the Sith or was it episode 1? And went, you know what? Fuck it. I'll make one of the best Sith books ever on one throwaway line. The respect for George and his work carried, and you can sense when they respect the core material
100%.
versus
Yep.
think that they're better and they kind of put their nose down on it and go, screw you. Like, I know better. This is what modern audiences want. And people are like,
Yeah.
what? This isn't a Star Wars.
Yeah. We have a very generous super chat here from Sniper Baz 8735.
Cute dog. Holy shit. That's way too much money, dude. Maybe I think you made a move to decimal. $4.99.99. Thank you so much. You want to read this, Mr. Philosophy?
Wish we could get 2 animated series and 1 live action every year. And is there going to be a rule of 3 this week? I'm not part of rule of 3. I don't know.
Rule of 4. You're always in my heart,
4.
dude. Yeah, he's always telling me how I performed. Oh, I get grilled. Rule of 3, I don't know. I messaged Theory today. I sent him voice notes and I said, let's talk. But we've been talking on the phone versus rule of 3 because of his travel. So I don't know. It's really hard to lock him down when he's got back-to-back conventions and he doesn't go home. That's why all these videos are on the road. I'd love to go rule of 3. I said today, literally to the boys, I'd love to do the show. That doesn't mean I don't like talking to Philosophy. You are my boy too. You're the GOAT. Everyone should know that. Greatest Australian Star Wars creator on Twitch. Ever. No, seriously. You're probably the most well-read, most well thought out, entertaining. I tell him to come to YouTube because he would blow up. Like, he really is something the community needs. You're a community first dude. So yeah, push him to move to YouTube because he's umming and ahhing a little bit too much. He doesn't know the space compared to Twitch. But yeah, what do you think about 2 animated series and 1 live action?
Well, first of all, thanks, dude. I appreciate those words. I think they should, and I'm not sure why they're not. Because I think these days, just the production costs are so high these days, and I think they just, especially now, they find it risky because, like, the last 10 years of Star Wars has been so. No, I wouldn't even say hit and miss. Like, obviously, there were some gems in there, like Tales, and there was, Andor. I think they're very, very scared because, like, Book of Boba Fett, and the last season of Mando, for me, they were sort of narrative failures, and they didn't perform or they sort of fell short at the last hurdle. I mean, like, I could say I enjoyed the second season of Mando, and I think a fair few people did, but it doesn't say it wasn't riddled with problems. And I'm not necessarily a Dave Filoni apologist. I personally do like Dave's Star Wars only because it is very George, and I'm a very big George fan. But in saying that, and to Dash's point, I personally believe that if a show like this does really well, like Maul, where they've made it a little bit darker, I think perhaps the studio will then gain confidence to start branching out and making more, I guess, like what Dash was saying, more like diverse content, giving it to other artists, but they have to remain in those confines of what Star Wars is and what Star Wars feels like. Because I think with Andor, they have a huge win there where it really wasn't like typical Star Wars, and they saw how well received it was. Even when I attended Celebration and saw all the cosplays, but the absolute fandom that Andor had behind it, which even from my opinion, I was just like, wow, a lot of people really like this. When I said it was a great show in terms of its production, I didn't necessarily love it as a Star Wars show, and you guys can come at me with Molotovs. But, absolutely it has a place in the universe for the story and the type of themes it tried to tell. So I think, with that Andor win, and if something like this, even though if I look at it as they're playing it safe, I think that'll give them the confidence to go forward. But in saying that, we're only 2 episodes in. And so, like, for me, I can rate the 2 episodes and go, they were good. I would never say something is, like, amazingly perfect. I think the only time I've said a show was almost perfect was Arcane, that League of Legends show. I'm not sure if you know it, Dash. Yeah, that was an animation, and that had some pretty dark themes in it. And that was the only show where I've actually gone, okay, wow, that's actually almost perfect. Then season 2 came along and they completely, absolutely botched it. But yeah, that my take on it. And I think going forward, they need to start reining in, or maybe just ignore. Is this a hot take? They need to start ignoring a lot of the uncivil discourse online. They need to stop using that as a metric of what is good and what is bad. Because you can
The
tell,
screeching.
well, yeah, but you can tell if a show's well received. And obviously a show's not going to please everyone. And even with your comments, they weren't bad comments. You were just looking at it from the point of what you subjectively thought was a good and what took you out of it. Like you're talking about it personally. So I think people need to start respecting those viewpoints a little bit more. And
But
yeah, they
would
need to. Sorry.
sorry, no, go ahead. I was going to say, do you think that they're trying to scrub out any dissenting voices and OG fans past a certain age bracket so that they can reset? Why deal with old curmudgeons? Why deal with a dude who's been a fan his whole life? Um, or that's 55 or however old and blah, 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 and watch the originals and they've got opinions when you can get some young kid that just watched Rebels and went, ooh, lightsaber Filoni. Perfect. 10 out of 10. How dare you? If you hate this, you're a hater and you deserve to die in a hole. You know what I mean? That, like, they could be grooming the groomers.
No, look, I think from a certain point, like Kathy was going that way. When I look at a show like Maul, I don't necessarily think they're going to scrub out the older Star Wars fans because maybe I ignorantly look at this and I think that anything sort of with a George Lucas flavor on storytelling isn't necessarily alienating the old fans. Like, because I mean, Rebels was pretty George Lucasy in a way, but very kid-like at the same time. Um, I don't think they want to alienate anyone anymore because obviously I think that was one of their biggest criticism was that you tried to move too far forward, and then you looked at Andor, and that was that nail in the coffin where they're just like, "We got to stop this. This is horrible." So it's like they dipped their toe into what the modern audience is, and they got an absolute shellacking of a backlash on it. So
Dave,
I look at
sorry, just to speak to your point from before. How do you give Jon Favreau, Robert Rodriguez, who directed Desperado, one of my favorite shooters, like 90s, these guys have been in the game. Jon Favreau, Iron Man. These guys have been in the game for so long and know how to make good shit. When I was watching Book of Boba Fett, Tamara Morrison, God bless him, great Kiwi actor. Like they're brothers to us, like cousins to Aussies. I want him to succeed. When I saw the King Kong moment, the scooters, the you look like you're wounded from your battle there, hairy friend. Come sit in my Bacta tank. And I was like, what the fuck is happening?
too much
Take a
Boba in the
bath.
bathrobe. Yeah.
Yeah, Bubba in the bathroom. You want to get in my sauna? And I'm like, what are we doing?
They
That
turned him
amount
into
of
a bit of a sex pest, yeah.
sex pest.
He was. He was just a creep. He's just like,
Get
I've
in
got a
my
pretty hot back to
tank.
take.
Yeah, it was like, no, I'm good. He's like, that wasn't a question. Cowboy comes up.
Just Rufus Jowl.
God knows what he was going to do to Luke Skywalker when he got him in return. He like caught him and he's going to zip him and drag him away. He thought he was a chick. He saw the blonde hair and he thought, into the Bacta tank. But that amount of talent and that horrible a show, I think it's got to be the money men there with a stranglehold on creativity. And you keep saying, have faith, there's new management. But I feel like, Dave, this is good, but it's not great. It's still Dave bound by something, if that makes sense. It's still Dave. And I think that's why we keep going in circles of it. I want Star Wars to be more and the breadth. And like you said, Andor showed that the EU fans are there, the older, more mature fans, which is me, which is all I want, is I want the kids to get their just desserts. I want their skeleton crews, but I don't want to have to turn my brain into kid mode to enjoy Star Wars and critique it like going, okay, it's going to be 20% slower than I like, 40% less actual action.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to dismiss a bunch of shit. I have to say it's great if Ahsoka gets on screen just because it's Ahsoka, like legacy characters, like all that shit. It's fatiguing me a little bit where I'm like, I want more. I want more. I know I shouldn't, but like people punish you for it. They've got this weird split dichotomy where the audience is like, as you said, the discourse has gotten so fever pitch. You're either in one or two band camps. You're either a Zoomer lover and everything's great, or you're some Doomer boomer and that your time's over, get out of the fandom. And I'm just like, I'm not having it. I think Star Wars is for everyone. It's a universe. Let's start acting like it.
The best thing that they could do is actually start listening to people that have a bit more balanced takes. I don't think your take, like I said, like I repeated this, it's not inflammatory. It's not like screw you, Disney. It's not obviously, what do they call it now? Like, it's not like you're necessarily grifting on the hate train either. And on the other side, I think to their detriment is if they look at the content creators who just, and I'll say it, they're just toxically positive. I've had people unfollow me just because I've said one tweet, which is, you know, you can't have an objective opinion on a piece of art if you either work for them or you're trying to work for their IP. Like, obviously, people that are trying to kiss the ass too hard, as a content creator or as a viewer, you shouldn't look at them from an objective viewpoint. You can look at them because, like, maybe you like some of the videos they do, but when they're talking about what they like, not every single human being can like everything. And that's when I look at some creators and go, now you're just being disingenuous. And like, that's one thing I don't like as well. So if I was Disney, I would probably look at the ones that are just trying to kiss ass, or I would look at the ones that have those balance take and go, okay, maybe I could learn a few things here. Maybe there is room to expand in different areas for different audiences. Let's see how many people sort of perhaps agree with this person's viewpoint. And they'll probably find other creators that do that as well. I think creators are powerful for them if they look at the ones that have those balanced takes. But I think since we're so early on into Maul, and I know I say this a lot, but I do write off a lot of the bad works down to Kathy. And maybe people think I'm giving maybe Filoni a bit too much breathing room. And I think, you know what, if you like Filoni, it's just, I think it's because people subjectively just like that sort of storytelling and artwork. And I think that's okay. Like you said, there's always going to be that room to have sort of like the Filoni flavor, but perhaps like an Old Republic live action, or that could give people that more mature take. Like you're saying, a lot of the EU fans love that more dark take. They love that more sort of adulty, more mature themes. I think that's a great program to actually start doing that with a Star Wars feel, is absolutely doing the Old Republic.
I get what he's saying.
He's like, no, I hate you.
No, I agree with what you're saying. I was going to say, let's go through, like you said, civil discourse. Yeah. That's why I love it, because you and I agree on 90% of the stuff, but I'm just more EU focused. You're more George. And it's like, okay, but like, I've just learned from you, one of the greatest lessons of Star Wars should always feel like Star Wars, even in the EU. And I look through all the catalog in my head of everything I love, and it's absolutely true. And that those parameters can now be applied to Disney Star Wars. Let's look at some hate comments that I gotten. First, we're going to acknowledge the beautiful puppy. Do you know what type of breed that is, by the way?
It looks like a Chihuahua cross.
Yeah, like with a chonky dog, like a Jack Russell. A pug, yes, pug body, more than a Jack Russell. Well loved, whatever it is. Sniper Baz 8735. Thank you so much. You're very gracious. Tamira deserved better. I nearly said Bacta. Hop in my Bacta tank.
He deserved Bacta.
Out of control. All right, let's look at some of the comments, and you comment and you'll see me liking people who agree with me because I'm a piece of shit. I'm human. I think that you're not allowed to be human anymore too. Let's look at some of the comments and we'll discuss, and you give your honest take because you're always honest with me, which is I love. Look at this. Look at this stupid look on my face. Like I know I'm about to be grilled. Please be gentle. I made that Korriban poster. That's all me, baby. I've only got through. Yeah, I got through 2 of the KOTOR posters. Very proud of that. All right, let's go into it. Nice. Okay. So I had to make a correction. I'd worked on literally a month making that Darth Maul Shadow Hunter video on Coruscant where he hunts Jedi in the underlevels. It's the darkest EU story, and I thought people are going to be so hyped for this. Anyway, when I started to review Maul Shadow Lord, which is on Janix, not Coruscant, and it's Shadow Lord, not Shadow Hunter. People rinsed me because I said the wrong words because I spent a month saying Coruscant and Shadow Hunter. Anyway, so forget that one.
Axiom.
Here we go. Here we go. Let's look at this. What do you think? Give me your thoughts as you're reading them.
The ones that are pointing out that it's not Coruscant, I discredit
That's
them straight
fine.
away because they're just like, oh, actually, it's Janix. Like I'm like, okay,
All
calm
right,
down,
right.
dude.
And I put up a comment. I pinned it and I said, correction. It's a brain fart. That's my bad. I fully take responsibility. It does discredit me, but come on, bro. But like, it was kind of hard to find some flaws that I
Yeah.
nearly fell over because I'm like, what does that mean? Am I losing my mind? Because everything you
No.
can look at it objectively and go, is it 100%? Is it really 10 out of 10? Or does it have some flaws?
I think it
Yes.
just shows the excitement that people had. So, for example, when they saw something straight up, because you got this video out kind of quick, right? So people would still be on that, like, oh my god, I'm so excited. And when, for example, I think when they saw, because I was going to say this before we started, but then you said no, say on the stream, and I will. I go, perhaps it was the title of the video that maybe got people straight away, because, for example, because your title of the video doesn't reflect what you're saying in the video.
Ooh, so you think that's actually classic clickbait? Let's have a look. So the title of the video is everyone loves this, but they're ignoring the flaws, which is 100% when I point out the flaws, which people are ignoring. So for me, I thought that's a perfect representation of I haven't seen one negative part of a review yet. I'm going to be the person that says, I like 8 out of 10. That's a fucking high score. But it still has some things that don't exactly hit the mark. And the only thing, look at me, I've liked my own video like a loser. I need it. I'm going to get rinsed. The only thing that I've got is my authenticity and to say, hey, let's be candid. There might be 1 out of 10 people that go, I agree with you. There could be 10. It doesn't matter. But it's me being honest that matters. And I think people disregard that because I don't think I was an asshole. I work really hard not to use derogatory language. I try and break down my thoughts on the points and articulate why I like something, why I don't, and focus on the thing itself versus just be like, Disney fanboys can suck a fat one. But one of those. I'm not like that. I'm like, we're all fans and this is where I'm at, right? Let's have a look. Like this person said, don't believe your lying eyes. You hated it, and here's why. And then they didn't just put anything afterwards. I'm like, I didn't hate it. I really like the characters. I thought Filoni's getting better. I was like, okay.
You actually sung it a lot of praise. See, like the only thing is, like in my head, I was just like, was with your title, like I would have been like, I wonder if Dash said something like, everyone loves this, but was it perfect? Because I think that's what we're trying to negate here. That's sort of like,
that's a positive version. Yeah.
Oh my god, Disney shill! I can't take that photo of Alex.
Oh, he popped up, and I was like, I love this guy. I once said to Alex, sorry, go ahead.
No, go on. Sorry, I was just reading the comment.
I said to Alex one time, we had a bet on something. I said, if something does well, I'll dress up as Revan and you have to dress as Malik. But really, with our body shapes, I would have made such a better Malik. I just was such a Revan fanboy. I didn't want to have to commit. Yeah. And he's like, all right. And here he's dressed as Leia. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, no, sorry, that photo just completely derailed me.
I know. Yeah, I can't stop staring into his eyes.
He's got some real passion behind them, doesn't he?
He's ready to be a slave.
Like he wants to go in a back to tank. But
you're a bad boy. Yank.
Yeah. Nobody said it was a horror show. I'm not sure what you expect. Yeah, it's
The lady said it was a horror show in the interview. She said Marek, the Inquisitor, moves like a horror beast. They kept on saying this is the darkest flippin' show you've ever seen in your life. Watch out, it's so dark. Get ready for darkness and horror and shit. And I'm like, all right, let's see. And then they turn around and go, nobody said that. I'm like, but they did. She literally said it in an article. Don't make me Google it right now and see, like they say, Marek horror. Marek horror. Because I read an article the other day. It's not going to show up. Moroccan horror. How do you spell
Morocco.
Marek? How do you spell Marek?
It's, I think it's
M-A-R-R-O-C.
I think it's Morocco.
Okay,
with a
K,
isn't
K.
it?
Instead of a C. Marek,
Moroccan.
2018. No, Marek, here we go. Oh, shoot. God, I read the article the other day. The creators of Star Wars, Shadow Lord. No, I'm not going to read it. I'm going to share this for a second. This is Star Wars News Now, one of the most credible news guys. The creators tease horrifying Inquisitor Marek. Horrifying. They used the word horror in the interviews and darker than ever. And Whitwer kept on going on and on and on. Here we go.
They said the word horrifying. So the way when I read that, I'm like scary. When the comments was, I think a lot of people in the comments didn't necessarily listen to what you were saying because you didn't shit on anything that hard. You actually were pretty balanced, and you actually you sung it a lot of praises where the praises were due. So I think when they hear the word horror, maybe they think that you meant like The Exorcist at Star Wars.
They said he moved like a horror monster. I was like, oh, okay. There's horror.
That's a fair
dark
horror monster.
It's like, I'm like, okay, there's horror. Yeah. And there was more moments where they clearly used horror inspired when the red light in the hallway and stuff, that was like, they went dark with it. They just didn't commit in places that I wanted. So I give them kudos. So, but I was like, okay, I expected it to be more horror. And then people like, they never fucking said that. I'm like, They kind of did. And are you being obtuse on purpose to make a point? Like, I swear to God, people ignore my points and then they just do things to shit on me. And it's so disingenuous because I try to be the same online as I am in person. And just, if I refute your point, I'm not going to attack you. Then you can always tell because they're like, listen, guy, or they say, hey, buddy, or, you know, you just know that they're going to absolutely shit on you. And Shadow Lord, not Hunter. Okay, I deserve that.
But we're also dealing with, an internet generation of people that dislike being disagreed with or having the slightest opinion that is different. So, I mean, I think the internet's going to be full of that now, unfortunately. But, with this show, if I were to say, it's like what I saw is the first 2 episodes were obviously introductions and character building and things like that. Does this show then have the potential to give you what you want? I'll probably say not fully. It'll probably give you a good part of it, like
8 out of 10.
Could probably definitely give darker. And you know what? Even if we watch up until season 2 because that already got greenlit, which is wild. I think even if you gave that whole series an 8 out of 10, that is a really high, fair.
Hello there. Welcome back. This is a review of Darth Maul Shadow Lord.
What is happening? What is happening? I could hit dash twice.
Hello there. No. I took over. I was trying to scroll through comments and look at, I don't even know what's happening. I'm so sorry, dude. I'm embarrassed. It somehow left the comment section. I scrolled too hard.
Yeah.
So you're saying it could give me close to what I want, but as a middle-aged man, I don't want another animated show again and again. And Maul being portrayed in animated show when he can go harder out of those constraints. That's a pretty fair thing to say. Like it feels like they can never do him justice to what brutality and violence he's capable of, or just the darkness because of the rating and the animated style of show. Would you say that that's fair?
Yeah, I think it is fair because with the animation, we're still targeting that heavy Clone Wars audience here. See, if I were to say in my head, I was like, we want a really dark Maul show. And I know we disagree on Whitwer a little bit because I like his sort of voice acting sometimes. But if I were to say make a dark Maul show, I wouldn't make it animation. I actually would have made it live action, really dark, with Sarah Fenowitz voicing him again. I think that would have been insane.
Yes, but that's what I'm saying. They're hogging all the bandwidth by giving Filoni the same characters all the time. And we know his beginning, middle, and end. It's like, I just want, give it to another creator. Please let them stop giving him the toy box and him going, well, I'm going to take my favorite toys out. I like Filoni, but I want him to do Ahsoka. Just can I have someone else play with the Star Wars toys for a little bit? Give it a new, fresh take. No, not even fresh. Do the Peter Safarovitz, whatever. I fucking can't say his name. It's like Worcestershire sauce.
Serafinowicz.
Safanowitz. He is my peak Maul. That's my other problem.
Yeah.
Sam Witwer, God bless him, is a great Maul. I love him as Shadow. I nearly call him Shadow Killer, Star Killer, Galen Marek. But my God, is he too theatrical with his Maul? I'm like, Maul, I get that he lays in the madness really well, but I like Peter S. because it was understated.
Yeah.
The hate was it was simmering. It was, at last we shall have our revenge. And you could feel like you're like, oh shit. His eyes did all, like, he let him do all the movement, the action, Ray Park. I feel like it's Shakespeare in the Park with Witwer, because he's Kenobi, and you're like, okay, tone it down. I don't love it so much. I feel like he's hamming up because that's the audience, the kids. And Maul didn't start as animation, so why does his story have to end as such? I just want him live action, true to the betrayal that he started with. But people are acting like I want something different and new and not what is true to Maul. I'm asking just for the Maul that we saw, George's Maul.
You don't know 100%. I think like what you're saying, I think maybe they feel as though they can get more storytelling out of an animated version of Maul, and lead on from the Clone Wars. I think maybe that is. I think maybe a live action. Maybe they just don't want the risk of the budget for now, and that's one thing I've always thought to myself was, I think like what you said before is like you think Dave is improving already just with the first 2 episodes that we've seen. Yeah. I reckon if this is really good and it continues going that way, I think that will give them the green light to go. Let's try something like really adult, mature, Old Republic. I reckon they might do it. Studios need confidence.
No, this is my problem with that logic, and I agree with you to a point. I think the Old Republic, when you were talking about that League of Legends show, what was it called?
Arcane.
I thought of that robot show, whatever it's, Murder Death Robots or whatever it's called. Oh my God, is that good? And it's made by Studio Blur or something. They're the same people who animated the Old Republic. Why can't the Old Republic guys make a show? Those cinematics are the greatest thing since sliced bread. And to your point, which is another person animated doing the thing, give him the keys. To your point, I think Filoni, being the CEO or whatever, the co-CEO, co-chair, is like Palpatine and we don't see Plagueis. I think that if he gets a hit, it's just going to embolden him to take his toys out of the box more and say, everybody loves me, give me more budget, more. And I don't think that we're going to get anything but more Filoni style because it's Filoni. His ego, he'll be like, I'm the man. I'm George Jr. Everybody says it.
I mean, maybe in his world, and what I mean by that is like he worked on the Clone Wars, and then Rebels, and Maul was through both of them. So perhaps there is a bit of justified, maybe ownership in the character with him and Sam Witwer, because I mean, fans love Sam Witwer's Maul, right? Like I agree with you sometimes, and I remember the first few lines he had. There wasn't enough subtlety in the way he was speaking because I grew up with Phantom Menace and I saw how Maul spoke and it wasn't so theatrical. So I mean, sometimes yes, I agree with you there, but I think there's such popularity with Witwer's Maul and Dave's telling of Maul that's what they're going to go with. I think it won't necessarily stop Disney from exploring new avenues. But perhaps with some of the characters like Maul, maybe not. So maybe, for example, if we get new characters like Old Republic ones that are brand new, maybe we're going to see that. You know what I'm trying to say?
I get what you're saying. I think they're just going to keep doing what they do. They're sucking him off already, like so hard. Look, Sam Witwer drew lines on his face approximating Maul's facial tattoos so that the artists at Lucasfilm Animation could reference how his face moves while creating Maul Shadow Lord. Witwer's dedication, knowledge, and attention to detail to this character is incredible. He drew on his face with texture. Just because Sam Witwer knows a bit of Star Wars, and God, he does. He's great with that. I don't rate him. I love him as Starkiller. I don't rate his Maul. And so I'm like, the fans are so hard up for good Star Wars. They're frothing this dude for drawing his face with texture. This is the biggest glaze I've ever seen in my life. Like, oh my God, he's a fan. And so they're like, oh my God, a fan finally likes Star Wars. And just like glazing him, I don't get it. I'm like, can we stop?
I mean, I like him, but I think it's that point of I would never like him to the point where I wouldn't give constructive critiques either. I think that's the difference
But
with
that's
me
where
and
they
maybe some other
stopped.
people.
I like
Yeah.
him. I don't like his Maul,
Mm.
but I really like his Star Killer. And I like that he is open to converse opinions. I think that he's grounded and that he's a great, steady voice. I also think him and Filoni are buddy-buddy and that they'll just keep making their little thing forever if they're allowed to. And I don't want that. I don't want them to gatekeep just because they do decent, semi-decent, like they do decent material, so they think that they deserve the whole universe. And I know that I'm selfish, great, but this is my opinion. I want more artists. I don't want these two just running it forever and it
Yeah.
being a kids show. I just don't want that. And I think that when the kids grow up, I think that you would have to be, I don't want to say stunted, but like, could you want the Clone Wars for your whole entire life and it doesn't change or grow? I don't know. I can't do it, bro. I mean, I want storytelling obviously first, and Clone Wars it can, but I just find that it's confined to a very narrow version that I don't think is the best. And I think Filoni's hit and miss, and I'm rambling a little bit, but Sniper Baz 8735, you're very generous. Hello there. For the love of God, tell us what your puppy is. We like it. We want to know.
Yes.
It looks like a
Yeah.
fruit bat.
Yeah, look, honestly, yeah, without going around in circles, I think that there's absolutely a huge fan base for that sort of Filoniverse. And obviously, I don't think it's ever going to go away. And I think subjectively, people can like it, dislike it. But I am confident that if we actually get this brand back on track from the last 10 years of Kathy, we're going to see some more quality coming up because I think they have enough data of people scream. Because for a while, it felt like balanced fans were screaming into the void with their fair critiques, and then obviously getting attacked. Like, I think I got called a Nazi because I didn't like The Last Jedi, like flat out. And I was just like, okay, that's a really intense comment to make, just because I really didn't like a movie.
Bro, it made me leave
yeah.
the fan. I was one of the first
Oh.
people to speak out against it because I couldn't handle the vitriol. I actually thought I was wrong. I thought maybe I'm broken. Maybe I'm not a true fan. Like, that's how hard they hit you. I said to you before the stream started, politics, religion, and Star Wars, people are the nastiest. As Australians, we're not like that. We don't care which way you vote, what your religion you're from, as long as you're, decent. And
Yeah.
which way, if you love Disney Star Wars, God bless. This is a golden era for you. If I loved Disney Star Wars, everything, I would be happy as a pig in shit. And if people hated it, I wouldn't get on the videos and go suck shit. I'll be too happy enjoying what I get. So when I see people attack others for not liking it, I go, there is something in your psyche that knows there's a fracture point where it says, this isn't as good as I'm trying to make it out to be. And you pointing it out is an attack on the fact that I know, because I loved Jedi Power Battles, which you and I have to stream. We've already talked about this, and it is a piece of shit, the original. It will make you rage quit. It'll burn friendships. I yelled at my mother at 16 one time because my friend stayed over and she didn't bring it home from Video Easy. I was like, we had our night planned, and I never yell at them. Like, that's taboo in my household. So like the fact I had a meltdown at 16, an autistic meltdown because I didn't get Power Battles because we were finally going to beat it. But if someone says to me, Power Battle's a piece of shit, I go, yeah, I get it. Or if they go, Red Harvest, your favorite Star Wars media, horror, you're a loser. I go, yeah, I get it. It's not for everyone, but I love it. You know what I mean? So when people say, in summary, none of you waste time watching this video, the flaws are the things Guy makes up or is ignorant to understand, just another washed up EU fanboy crying about Disney canon. Matthew Short, I try and be nice to people, and I try not to play into negativity. But that's fucked. Like that's so off base. Like you aren't even attacking my points. You're attacking my character, which means that you as a person needs to grow. Because if you had some real counterpoints, you would say them instead of just attack me, attack, the EU, or you say he's washed, like, oh, age, you know what I mean? It's so dismissive. It's disingenuous. And I can't stand these type of arguments because they're not, you know what I mean? They're not worth your time. I'm just like, I can't counter that because you're not arguing in good faith. You're just name calling. And
yeah, 100%. And like, if Matthew, he must have, I guess, maybe followed you or something. Like, he watched your video, and if Matthew is watching right now, the one thing I'll probably say is that I can understand a perspective of people disliking like rage bait negative channels, but channels like Dash, and I'm not saying this just with my mate, but if you have to give a lot of people more time, the ones that have objective takes, because then, for example, maybe then you could learn something, or maybe then you could spot something that you haven't seen before. So like, I understand that the internet now is full of toxically positive and toxically negative. And I think now is the time people need to understand and go, let's just actually have a look at objectivity again for once, or just having that forum where we can actually discuss an IP. Discussing Star Wars prior to Kathy was so fun. It was so fun. You could agree, you could disagree, and you could actually build on lore together, and you could nerd out. And that's what I, as a 37-year-old white male, miss on the internet, or like
you
miss in
call
general.
yourself white?
I know I'm Italian. I'm not white.
Well, I thought a lot of Italians didn't consider themselves. I'm sorry, I got sidetracked by that because you are so Italian. You are so Italian that like I can't believe you actually said that, because a lot of Italians I hear say that and I go, really, not white? I don't care, but
no, I say that more as a meme. But like, look, Italians, like, we'd like to say we're not. We are, but yeah.
Well, depends where you're from, right?
Oh, from the south, yeah, different. Let's not go there.
I want to say it. I want to say it. I made him. This is how much of a piece of garbage I am. When he was talking about Italian, because he's so Italian core, like he should be wearing a flag at the moment. I just casually said when we were like chatting, I was like, part eggplant. And he's like, what are you talking about? And then I sent him the True Romance clip. Who? We're still friends. We're still friends. Quentin Tarantino wrote that.
Did he?
His black stepfather, I believe, adoptive stepfather, told him the history of the Moors invading Italy and the pillaging they went on and stuff. And of course, that's Tarantino saying the most blunt, out of pocket thing ever about race you've ever heard.
I love Tarantino. Like, people have actually said this, and I don't know where I've heard it, but Tarantino style Star Wars, you think it would hit?
I think Scorsese. I would pay to see any. Scorsese could make Wolf of Wall Street on some shut ass lazy, planet. I would watch it all. I want to see more artists paint, and
100%.
as long as it's within that confines that you spoke of, the parameters. Somehow somebody has to create a slideshow, a PDF, a document where they say you can't go outside of said parameters, but go. I would watch it all, dude. Not all of it, actually. And that's the point. Remember Forces of Destiny, that show where Anakin was really pretty like a woman and it was aimed for 8-year-old girls?
Yeah.
Nobody would have given a shit about that if there was 40 Star Wars shows coming out and so many artists painting and showing it. But because we were in a drought since Disney took over, everything gets scrutinized so heavily because they're not giving us more. They're giving us less. And then they're going, this is $1 billion thing. And if you don't like it, you're a piece of garbage. And it's the Acolyte. And you're like, did you even know what a Star Wars is before you started? Like, got Leslie Headland. Actually, I listened to her speak and she seems pretty nice. Like, I could talk to Leslie Headland. I'd be cordial. I think she seems fine. She seems pretty likable. But she's part of the industry, those people that I keep talking about that seem to think they know better than what's come before. And it always goes tragically wrong, except for Tony Gilroy. Tony Gilroy famously said he didn't like Star Wars. And I think that it made him tell a good story in the Star Wars universe, but he wasn't true to George's vision. So someone like me could enjoy it, but I was like, he's 10% more George, the Star Wars, where someone
Yeah.
like you felt that dissonance and you went, I'm disconnected. This is there's the paint is there, but it's not the heart, the soul.
Yeah, like when I watch Andor, and people seem to think I'm like stupid when I say this comment. I'm just like, I just didn't think it was that hard to grasp. Where I'd watch Andor for the quality of the show. It was fantastically done, but it didn't necessarily give me the feeling I was in that Star Wars universe. For me, it lacked some of that magic, and people just couldn't fathom that I said that. And I was like, okay, well, if you don't understand what I'm saying, that's okay. Like, but like what you're saying is like they think they know better than what came before. It's because they do try and appeal to what is popular on the internet and the themes they want to talk about, or dare I say, even some sort of
Agenda?
culture wars that they try and push. And I think that's
Yeah.
where the real fatigue is. And like, because when I look at the Book of Boba Fett and I look at what Disney and what Lucasfilm had at their disposal to leverage off, and if I were to say, if this director ever done it, I'm like, if I wanted to make an underworld TV show about Boba Fett, about Tatooine, about the underworld, organized crime, why wouldn't you get someone like Francis Ford Coppola to help you? Because that man wrote arguably probably one of the best, mob movies series in the world, except for Part 3 of The Godfather. Like, why wouldn't you leverage someone like that? Who actually who
Supposedly
made
the scripts were the best thing ever, ever. And Palpatine had like a woman problem so bad that people sided with Palpatine. She must have stepped on his nuts or something. Like, how do you side with Palpatine? She was like got heels and was just jamming him with the stiletto. And he was like, 6 pages of Palpatine got his nuts stomped. And he's like, come on, he's just crying. Please stop. Oh,
starts
Chief,
lightning and shit?
Chief, Chief. He's shooting lightning. I don't know, dude. All right, let me read this comment. This woman says, let the angry fanboys cry. Everything Lucasfilm was made since 1977 has had some flaws. Who cares? It was good. You guys that bored, go get jobs. Like, these people don't argue in good faith whatsoever. No, none of that refutes my point. So it takes into account, I said 8 out of 10, and I really like the characters, and Filoni's doing really well compared to his other stuff. Like, he's getting better and better, and the writing's good. Like, oh my God. This is the state of the fandom, though.
What's her name? Stephanie Janik says
Smugglers can. That's a mouthful, Stephanie. And by no means do I want retribution to happen to these people. That's fine. If that's how you speak to people on the internet, though, it's more a you problem than a me problem. But it's just so disingenuous. I can't interface or interact with that in a meaningful way, because you say that and you don't make it refute my point, so that I'm in the mud people. Like, again, let them do what they do. Don't anybody attack them. They can say what they want. It's the internet. I don't care. I want to make that clear. I don't believe in harassment. I'm only using these points to talk about where we're at, because I know a lot of you feel the same. Maybe you don't, but the discourse and civility, as Sweep. What would you prefer? Philosophy, Sweep, Phil, Adrian?
Whatever you want, dude. I don't mind.
Well, you call me Dash. Anyway. Yeah, it's something that's missing. And it's the most important thing that we have is how we talk to each other. Because I don't see a Disney Star Wars fan any less than myself. We're just different. I don't agree with them. I think a lot of it's shite. A lot of it. Some of it's good, but like not much. But like I said, God bless. Like, if you're happy, why are you on the internet on other people's videos belittling them? It doesn't make a lick of sense to me. If I won the lottery tomorrow and I had $80 million on my super yacht and I'm popping bubbly and some hobo is on the dock and I go past him and I pop my wine bottle lid at him and hits him in the eye and I'm like, suck shit, loser. You should have done better with your life. That says everything about me and my character, not the hobo. I don't care how we got there. Like, so if you're winning, if you love the show, why are you getting so upset with people who don't? I cannot fathom it. It's one of those things where I just don't get it. And they go, you can't be happy. Something in your psyche is pushing back.
Yeah, they have this weird sort of like parasocial behavior where they need to sort of all consort together and have the same sort of viewpoint. Can't I can't help but think, because I don't really look at X a lot because I got sick and tired of the fakeness of it. And I think they do it before. They used to do it a lot, where they used to be like, "See, I currently support current thing with the show and Star Wars, therefore Disney, look at me, look at me, look at me." And I think there's a few creators that you and I could probably name, which I don't think we should, but I think that's where that sort of behavior came from, where they're still trying to like sort of hold on to that part of it. Um, and it's yeah, it's just not good for the fandom, to be honest. I've lost Ash. Where is he?
I'm reading, she runs the Smugglers Cantina podcast, supposedly.
I heard the Smugglers Canteen
Um,
podcast.
yeah, I'm like, really? She's another creator, so she knows how hard it is to do this, and she's having a pot shot at me. You
Is that
see,
still a
this is what
podcast?
I don't know. I can't find it. I'm looking at her channel, just being like, all power to you, Steph. There's a sick part of me is a joke that wants to go on her video and go, not everything is great since 1977, something, something, get a job, loser. And I know that's horrible, but that's what she said to me. You know what I mean? Like mirror it back. But I'm like, no, that's sick.
Yeah, but
But
you're better than that, and I think that's the big difference to these people having such a visceral reaction to you having
that's
your
what I'm saying.
opinion.
I don't get it. As creators, though, it's like you don't attack your own kind. You don't, like, unless you're having a joke or they've done something truly messed up. You know how hard it is to get it from all sides. Oh my god, I'm checking my notifications. I'm in trouble. Oh god, there's a lot of written stuff.
Yeah, but like as you know, post 2016, it all became a very, very different place, especially with getting into certain little clubs on YouTube, getting certain promotional materials. People used to blacklist each other. I mean, you know all about this as well. Like having a different opinion on a piece of art was just taboo, and you can't do it because it doesn't actually agree with our party line. It's just not good.
But it's like everything, dude. Like everything is politicized. I remember. Okay, I shouldn't say this, but this is where it crossed the line for me.
Do it.
You remember that dude who cried when he saw every trailer?
Wait, I was watching that yesterday with Drop Bear, and we just cracked up. Yeah, I
Number
remember
one,
that.
I hope you're watching Drop Bear. Thanks for messaging me back, piece of shit. Number two, I remember when people were like, don't bully him. And I was like, if you choose to put yourself on camera and cry, I cried when the Force Awakens came out, the trailer, because the music always gets me. If someone shit on me and was like, grow up, I'd be like, yeah. Like, I get it. I get crying makes some people uncomfortable. I get that I've chosen to put something on the internet. You can still critique me and say, like, oh, lame, whack, whatever. Cool. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not above critique. Like, I think there's fair critique, and then there's this character assassination. Anyway, I started seeing stuff about him that was not great, like his actions, and it seemed like he was just doing it because he found a niche. And I don't respect that. Like, you're the cry guy, but whatever. If that, people sell pictures of their feet on the internet. You want to cry? Fine. Like, okay, it's not my thing. Go do it. But people are allowed to say this is whack or this is good. Like, that's, okay. Anyway.
I mean, that guy cried over like
Oh,
seeing a leaf.
oh, he's got to be just dehydrated by now. The dude, just everything. He'd say, oh my God, race on a speedo, like screaming.
Yeah,
like,
it was too
like
much. And then
like a grandmother that lost her child. I was like, what?
I got really mean about it. Actually, I was just kind of just like, and apparently this dude's married. I got really mean. I'm sorry, I shouldn't have said that. But like, Yeah, he was too much, and I think that's where I was like, you could see it was too fake.
Well, no,
Um,
yeah, because I saw his wife to that point. This is the thing I didn't want to say,
did
and
you
I don't
actually?
condone bullying. No, I saw his wife in a clip. I didn't
Oh
date his wife. Jesus Christ, I wouldn't
no, no. I
touch
mean,
his
like,
wife.
where did you see his wife? So was she
She was in
crying
a
as well?
clip, and he was the cry guy. Because he glazes and praises so heavily, he went to do that, and she tried to give a critique, and you saw him snake eyes her and shut it down. I'm like, ooh, 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 off brand.
Bombastic
And I
side
thought, yeah,
eye.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And I was like, oh, so she's gonna get it after the thing. This is my thing. Anyway, to my point, it became political, and then suddenly people are like, because some right wing commentator got on the side of dissing him, then it became the left wing's job to protect him. And I was like, this is way too messy. This is just a dude that's weeping over everything on the internet, and that is his shtick. Now you can critique that, but don't turn it into something that it's not. And it's like Star Wars. I get politics gets people riled up. Again, we're Australians. We don't get so riled up about that or
Mhm.
religion. But Star Wars, because it has this political religious aspect, gets lumped in those categories where people treat each other that poorly. And I just think it's insanity because I love fans and I want to bond. Like, the reason why I make these videos is because if you feel the same way or don't, or want to share the experience, it's candor and you want someone to relate to. It's the bros like you and I, Adrian, like we're
Mhm.
bros. I don't agree with you all the time, but it's the community I love. And so I
Mm.
don't get this division. It just is senseless.
It's going to take a little bit of time to unbreak what, unfortunately, I'm going to say is what Disney built. They appropriated the attacks on people who didn't like where they were going. They, as a PR machine, did the biggest disservice to the fan base. They did the biggest disservice with Ryan, and they did the biggest disservice with defending the people who work for them, attacking people. And I think that's what they did wrong. They should have seen that, Ryan created a massive wedge. Bang, straight away. You're this side or you're that side. That was the first big mistake. But then after seeing that, oh, okay, it's actually a big split of who dislike this. Let's not shit on them more and kick them more while they're down. Let's try and actually go, well, okay, as a brand, I don't want to split my fan base in half. That's a bad thing to do, right? They should have then got on their bike and just gone, you know what, we need to actually like fix this, fix the community, because the community was so strong together to nerd out about Star Wars. And like you said, it's a big deal to a lot of people. Um, and they just perpetuated this machine that just kept dividing and dividing, and they just let people on the internet just keep harassing each other. No, not once did Disney ever take accountability for the damage that they did for the fandom. And that's one big thing that they need to start repairing now. Guys, did we lose Dash?
So I'm looking
Dash's
at it
camera's
going,
frozen.
oh God. Oh God.
Are you still frozen?
Am I?
You're frozen for me. Yeah.
I had a freeze and then I saw the freeze and now I'm back.
Okay.
Just hope my camera's not gonna do that thing. It's got the coolant on. Anyway, um, I agree with you. I think that level of rhetoric is so toxic, and it's
Uh-huh.
weird because it okay, let me give you an example that shouldn't be an example. Dave Filoni's wife, who I wasn't on my radar until recently, when she started putting out these very caustic, asinine tweets about like "f you" and I'm toxic and woke and stuff like that, I was like, "There's no like hail Satan" or whatever. I was like, "There's no good reason." Like, I know that it's not the onus is not on her, and I don't believe in attacking people. The onus isn't on her to represent her husband, but in some world, she must recognize that her saying all that stuff divides the fandom and hurts like the brand. Like, people are going to go, okay, so if you believe that clearly your husband does, and this is something we don't like woke anymore, or but it's divisive whether you like woke or you don't. Saying "f you" if you don't agree with me, which is exactly what her shirts and mugs said, and she like literally was making a point saying "f you" if you don't like woke. I was like, whoa, like, why divide the fandom more? Like, Disney takes no onus of that whatsoever. They gleefully seem to do it. Remember the mugs that Andy Gutierrez used to have that said fanboy tears and stuff? And I was like, they create this little clique culture, and if you don't adhere to it fully, you get kicked out. I remember when Matt Martinez back in the day, I think that was his name. He was one of the new story group guys. He was at a convention I was at in like 2017, and we're going to meet up. And that was when I started saying my opinion a little bit more, like, oh, I like this, don't like this. And he must have seen that, and he was like, got squirrely. He's like, I can't meet up anymore. And that was just the only one that actually talked to me was, is it Mike Chen of the story group? And he was great. I actually was like, look, dude, I got to go. And he wanted to talk more story stuff. Like, he was amazing. The rest of them, Pablo, were just like screw fans, stuff like that. I'm like, why do you hate? I am so thankful for everybody that watches what I do, whether they like it or not. The one thing that you can't get back in life is time. And so, like, people are giving you their time and money, assuming they're not pirating it. And to have and you've inherited the greatest, my favorite franchise on the planet. I love Star Wars more than ever. It is the greatest franchise that is more than just media for me. It is like a lifestyle, community. I love the people, everything. And so to belittle them and to just outwardly despise them if they don't agree with you fully, I can't even wrap my head around it. If I was running socials of Lucasfilm, I'd be like, thank you so much. Like, I am so appreciative. We're doing everything in our power to make the best Star Wars, and we're listening. We hear you and we appreciate you. But they just do the opposite. They're like,
recently they did, and I think to like what Dat Darnak Taku, sorry if I butchered that.
Dano Taku.
Yeah, what he says is he kind of agreed, like when Dave attacked and divided the fans more when fans said Ray was a Mary Sue, and Dave essentially told fans to get over it. Again, I'm not an apologist, but that ship was run by a person who would have, in my opinion, forced a lot of this messaging. I don't feel like a lot, because Dave doesn't really come out and tweet a lot. And I remember he said that at I think it was like a female Women's Day conference or something like that. So like, it's hard to say, like, was he forced to say those things? The point is he said it, and I get it. And I get that's also divisive. And ever since then, I haven't really seen him say things like that. So, going forward, I really hope to see that fan base repair is happening, because like what Dash said, there was people posting like Andy Gutierrez with fanboy tears and stuff like that. They allowed that toxic culture to be almost the forefront of their brand. Of like, if you don't like it, don't watch it. And when fans stop watching it, that's when they course correct it.
That's where we're at, though. Apathy, yeah. And I okay, so we've made these points. I do like that you're more hope as well, very Star Wars, and I think that's what we're going to look to as the future. Because I still think this is the greatest time to be a Star Wars fan, despite all of this. There's so much to dig into, even if you go backwards, But and like the funny thing is about Mary Sue's is I 100% see Kyle Katarn, Jedi Knight 1 as a Gary Stu. Like, that dude beating Jarek and all his Dark Jedi. Jarek was having a back to tank bath in the Valley of the Jedi Juices. He should have decimated. He could have destroyed stars in a thought. I'm pretty sure Jedi Master Kuran said. Starkiller, Gary Stu, they overpowered him because I remember Lucas Arts people at the time said they wanted to appeal to young boys, power fantasy, and they did. It felt fucking awesome pulling that Star Destroyer. But like, the fact that saying that for a female was tantamount to misogyny, and that dude got fired, was it from Google or something? I was like, that's crazy. But like you said, we need to heal. Where's the healing from Disney?
It'll come. I think it should come, because they've been less vocal. They've been less like attacky. Like they haven't. And I think,
baby, show me the list of all the influencers that got to see Maul early. You know who it is.
Yeah. But wasn't there a time with the Acolyte where that group of people that we're probably talking about, when the Acolyte got pulled, that they had a big hissy fit, and it seemed like they weren't necessarily getting the calls up from the studio anymore. I'm not going to openly name creators, but I think we know who we're talking about here.
Yeah.
Just actually out of the conversation, who got to see more early? I actually don't know. Was it the usual people that we're talking about?
Yeah.
Hmm. But was the messaging, has there been any like attacks or any sort of toxic culture being spurred out by these people? Like, have they also been reined in to say, don't go on your platforms and start attacking people who don't like stuff anymore?
Here's the problem with that rhetoric with Maul. Maul is a good enough show where it will do well enough where they'll just call people who don't like it haters. They had no grounding and basis with Acolyte, so that they could swing hard and say that you're an istophobe or whatever, like just nasty stuff about people if you don't like it. But because
Yep.
more will do well, they'll just say you're a liar and they'll discredit you like they do me. Instead of my points that I made, which were very few, 8 out of 10. And so I think that more will just it will embolden them. Whereas when the show
Mm.
sucks, they don't have that platform. They swing wild a bit more. That's my take. They'll just say
Yeah.
you're a boomer. You're a boomer fan. Doomer. What's it? Come out. You're a doomer if you don't like it.
Yeah. I mean, like, look, all in all, I hope the show is a good hit. I hope it is, because we all like good Star Wars, right? And if a show is good, it's good. And if it's bad, it's bad. I think that's probably the best honesty we can always have. And I think never ever be afraid to say your thoughts, on these things. But like what you're saying, like, will it embolden them more? I'm not sure, because like when I look at their channels, are they doing well? With just being toxically positive, are they doing well? Or have people sort of been like, this seems pretty mindless now if you're just gonna glaze everything without
I don't know,
objectivity.
dude. It's in such
You
a
know what I mean?
weird space.
Like, I honestly think fans these days will be more towards people with opinions. Obviously, like with the comments that you've received today, I mean, that's still wild that that's happening, and it shouldn't be happening, because I thought your take was balanced, and I thought there was actually nothing wrong with it. The only thing I could say, like I said, like maybe because in this day and age we have kids with such, don't attack me, short attention spans, that maybe they just saw the title and assumed that you're going to be a hate grifter. You know what I
I'd
mean? They
love
already
to be
made
a
that.
hate grifter.
They already had made that pre-assumption when they saw the title. It's like, oh, there's another one. Like, you know what I mean?
I haven't seen any hate grifters reviews. I don't even think they watch Disney Star Wars. And to your point, this is a question I roll around in my head. Do I want Disney Star Wars to do well? Because the more it can do well, the more it would limp along than do my goal of giving more artists access. So what if the next company, whomever it was, what if they would give open slather, they kept that Star Wars theming as you want, but they released 20, they licensed it out. We got 20 pieces of media a year, books, TV show, everything, versus Disney, who piecemeals, afraid, Filonifies everything. You know what I mean? Like, this is my fear, is that they'll just continue slowly course correcting, but not doing the thing that I think is the best, which is giving more Star Wars to everybody.
I think if Lucasfilm was independent, they probably would. Under someone like Disney, where they are very, very, very controlling, I don't necessarily. I think that would be maybe the limitation, is the studio itself. So even with what Dave produces, and they see obviously a big fan base that likes him, they might hammer Dave on the head, even if he's the head, and go, do more of that, do more of that, do more of that. Don't venture out, because I mean, venturing out and giving other people licenses, like you said, George Lucas did that himself. So it's not very un-George Lucasy to do what you said, to give other people the playground and the tools to build something great along with that theming. That's a very, very George Lucas thing to do, um, with the games and novels. So the limitation, I think, in that regard, would be Disney freaking out, like you said, the money men. It's just like, nope, everything we do just has to make money, and we have to just keep chasing that popularity and those trends. Because all we want is those dollar signs, baby. Which limits limits artists. It does. If you're going to keep people within a realm and not branching out, you're always going to limit artistic natures.
I agree. And like we talk about this way too much. Me coming back to Star Wars, getting the channel, all that stuff. I'm so passionate about Star Wars fans, the community, and the betterment of people in general on having the best Star Wars integrating into their life. And I just don't see Disney getting it. They don't, they see it as toys, merch, and shows that flop, and that upsets them. I just don't see the holistic, the like George got it when it came to the universes, even giving the tools away and saying, do the EU, I don't care about it. Like he gets it. It's disappointing. It's something that I strive for to fill that gap, because I feel like we're so disjointed and people want to feel the force. They want to feel alive with Star Wars and bond over it genuinely, but they don't know how and they don't have the tools, which is something I'm working on just in background. Someone else who does it, Star Wars Central. I wish I had like a button on this bloody, I got a Stream Deck. I can't even lift it high enough for my camera. I got no buttons, no noises, whatever. Star Wars Central is the guy that is the #1 Old Republic channel. He is the dude. He does a lot of animation himself. He's just got a new graphics card and he's doing like Old Republic level animation now. That's what he's moved into.
That's hectic.
It is. It is. I always talk to him about, I was saying to him the other day, I would love an app for Star Wars, the Old Republic, like Galaxy of Heroes, but just the galactic trade market, because I literally log into characters, send them off. I used to hate this when it came out. I was a Galaxies fan. I'd send them off to do like all of their crew skills, and then I go trade on the market. I like the Wolf of Wall Street, the Loth Wolf of Wall Street. Dude, I love it. I can't get enough of it.
Blushes. He's blushing. You made him blush.
He's blushing. No. He's amazing. So what do you think of the Old Republic? You didn't like the questing?
What do you mean?
Well, I tried to rope you in the other day. I was like, we should do some stuff. And you were just like, well, and I was like, I don't think this is your speed.
No, it's not that I don't like it. Like with like Switch on the Old Republic and stuff like that, I would love to get more into it. It's just lately, I just haven't really had the time. Like I think I was saying to your stream, like now that things are sort of like calming down on a personal level, I can probably start being more into these things now and actually getting more into it.
No, that's great. I play it daily. I can't get enough. In between work, I play it and then I go to bed and I fucking play Galaxy of Heroes. When Galaxy of Heroes came out, couldn't stand it. When Old Republic came out, I played it for 3 months straight and I was like, oh, this isn't Galaxies, and I gave up. And now I don't know how. I never really changed my mind on games or media, but I love the Old Republic more than ever. I'm going to link it in the chat, our Discord, because we've got guilds. I know a guy that I met back in 2012, been playing with him for a while. We've rebooted the guild. We're just starting again. We'd love more people on Starforge. And I've still got the old Alliance guild. Like I literally logged into a character called Kylo, for God's sakes. We played the other day, that weird Twi'lek healer where you're like, he's in a dress. Because I tried to make him look diplomatic like a Jedi sage. And Sweep was like, why is he in like this like girly dress? And I'm like, I thought he looked cool. I thought he looked regal. I just been to Alderaan, so I thought, this guy's a diplomat, and you're like, he looks like shit, like a woman.
Very Galadriel-esque. Oh, look, look who's in chat, Dash.
Who?
You might yell at him. Old Republic is great, especially with friends.
Who said that? I invited you, Drop Bear. You are disappointing on such a fundamental level. He like messages me once every 3 to 6 months and says, oh, we should chat, and then just ghosts me. And I'm like, oh, you're really getting up my goat now. I have a lot of time for all Australians, especially Aussie creators, but this guy is just testing me.
But yeah, Galaxy of Heroes.
Wins?
Do you see yourself pumping money into Galaxy Heroes, or would you be
No,
strictly free to play?
free to play, dude. It wants like $20 for some season thing. And I'm like, I'm a happy subscriber to SWOTOR for the quality of life stuff. I think maybe a couple of months and maybe Galaxy of Heroes might break me. I'm already fantasizing about my KOTOR only squad. My Inquisitors, I like the Inquisitors, like the Disney ones, actually, which is weird. I want a squad of them. I want a squad of droids for some messed up reason. I want my squads. And the grind is a lot when you just get walled off. It's actually really forgiving for you if you don't pay. I will give it that credit. It is not. I feel like it's slow, but I don't feel like it compels me to pay too much, which I appreciate.
Yeah, no, that's true. I've only recently, in the last season and this season, have invested in the season pass. Only because the materials that it gives you and the currency that it gives you is just actually like so helpful. So I shamefully report that I have bought the season pass for like that $25 or something.
No, dude, your characters are all maxed out. You've been playing for how many years? You know, my mate from my old job runs the swgoh.gg site. He was one of the
Mhm.
first early adopters, and he said to me, his name's Dan. He's like, "Oh," I said, "I don't love turn-based stuff or whatever," and he goes, "Oh, just set it on autoplay." And I went, fuck, dude. Like, what's the point of owning a game if you're just pressing auto? You're not even playing it. And then
Yeah.
last night, I was like, oh, I got to grind out a couple of levels. I can't be bothered. Hit the autoplay like a scumbag, rolled around in bed, left the phone there for a second, picked it back up, went, oh, we're all done. I couldn't believe. I'm like, what have I become?
You have to do that sometimes, especially with the grindy things. But yeah, I think it keeps me interested now because I can't remember how long it took me to get my first Galactic Legend in that game. And I'm not gonna lie, the temptation was there to spend money, but I kept at it. But it took months because you're a very, very new account, aren't you?
I have noticed. Yes, I am. I had one ages ago and I couldn't find it, and it had some good
Oh,
shit on it. I think they sent me some stuff, or I got some stuff free. I can't remember, but I had some good shit on it, and it just went, and I could not. It's almost like it got deleted because I tried every single Google Play account I have access to. Though I was living in the States, so maybe it was different. I don't know. Um, Anyway, long story short, I started again and I noticed the higher you go, the grinds are starting to look like you're going to have to pay, like you're going to hit that wall when you get high.
yeah, yeah. It's like those last little hurdles. That's something that the Galaxy, the pass helps with. A few of those extra materials. All on Satil Shan servers. What were we playing on the other day, Dashi? Was it
Starforge. So I was on
Starfield?
Satil. I originally started on a Junta Paul, which is a semi RP. And I created a guild. We called it the Republic Alliance. And I was running Jedi because
Yeah.
oh God, I froth the Jedi. My friend ran smugglers and my girlfriend at the time did trooper. Anyway, long story short, it was still there, the guild, and it was in that character that you said looked like a woman, the Twi'lek in his robe,
We like Galadriel.
and his name was Kylo, and I swear I created him before the Force Awakens, and it's Kylo spelt different. It's Kai, and then like space LOWE or something stupid. And I was like, there's no way I did that. Yeah, there's no way I did that. I must have created it later. Anyway, yeah, and we ran around and back then everybody was Sith. I couldn't believe it because I'm such a Jedi. Like I'm just so sad when it comes to wanting to be a Jedi in those games. And we got steamrolled in PvP. Steamrolled. They just everybody was Sith.
That PvP though is so difficult for me to get down. Like, if there was a remake of that game, do you reckon it would pop off like with modern mechanics and all that kind of stuff? Do you reckon it would actually go hard?
Yes. Also, they're redoing it in the Frostbite engine, which is so funny because, as you know, I've said this too many times. I went to the DICE offices in Sweden like 8 times, I think, before Battlefront 2 came out as one of their game changers back in like 2018. It's sad. That's my one claim to fame. If you dare play single player Battlefront 2 to the end and see the credits, my name is in there, which is so weird because all I did was autistically yell at them that the saber combat was not great and it should be like Jedi Academy and it's two toys mashing together. And I was upset. Anyway, they said the Frostbite engine was really difficult and they kind of got shoehorned into it. And it was like a single player engine and it was not made for RPGs at all. Dialogue, it would break. EA famously would spend $1 billion on an engine and go like, figure it out. You have to use this thing. So long story short, SWOTOR and Star Wars Central posted this on April Fool's, so I thought it was bullshitting, is adopting the Frostbite engine that Battlefront 2 uses.
Perhaps it's evolved since then.
Of course, yeah, they do.
Yeah,
These engines are just code things that, but can you believe that? I nearly fell over, dude.
Yeah, no, that is a bit of a strange jump, especially when they noted its limitations prior. But those, I remember actually back in when Battlefront 2 was coming out, this is actually a bit of a flashback for me because I remember being sad in a government building and watching your reviews when you were over there talking about it. I think you did a review on the a few of the multiplayer planes on it, like when you were reviewing like what was in the game and things like that, because you could only make short little videos on it while you were there.
Yeah, they would take us in a room, so do record, don't record, and then they'll just kick us out. And I was playing against Jack Frags and Muselk, who was like very famous Team Fortress 2 Fortnite player, Aussie. And Muselk was the first dude I ever saw to use Maul's saber throw to kill a TIE fighter, and I nearly fell over. I couldn't believe what I just saw. I was like, this. And that would kill you. You would like spawn in and then you just see like bang, Jack Frags. And you'd just be like, son of a bitch. Yeah. So it was a lot of fun.
Would you do it again?
Do what again?
Like go back to the studios, have those early accesses and things. Would you do it again?
Right now, the same way, no. I would travel from Australia to Sweden, and I don't want to sound ungrateful, but I have a young family and it was 24 hours. It would take 14 or something to get to Abu Dhabi, always jump from there to Stockholm. I'll be on the ground for 2 to 3 days and then they'll put me back in a plane. And instead of being smart and paying to stay in Stockholm, because I had so much to do, I would just go home and make videos. And it was like 60 hours plus 70 hours of the week was in a plane and I don't even like traveling that much, like in a plane. So it was amazing and I feel blessed, but also with 2 kids, I don't want to be away from them that much. And it was hectic, dude, like 70 hours in a plane. I was so jealous of the other guys. Like Elliot, Battlefront Updates, literally would walk from his apartment 2-3 blocks and be like, hey guys, what's going on?
That's crazy. That's crazy. And even like the other guys in America, it'll probably only be like a 6-hour trip.
A shorter trip. I know. And I feel like a bitch saying that because they paid for hotels and stuff, but like, that's 70 hours over and over and over.
Yeah.
And they just took away like the premium economy thing when I joined the program, which meant that like I would pay for extended legroom seats all the time. When you're over 6 foot and you don't want to do it for like 24 hours, 2 times. Anyway, I feel like a bitch. I'm very, very grateful, but it's hard. The travel's hard to do. But it's more that I would do it if I didn't have a family. It's just a family because I don't want to be away from my kids for extended period. It just feels a little bit hard, but I'd probably do it one time, but I wouldn't keep doing it back and forth, back and forth.
No, living in Australia, we all understand how hard it is to get to Europe. It's just one hell of a trek of a journey, man. But what about celebration? Are you eyeing that down, the 50th anniversary?
I don't even know anything about it. Is it LA?
Yeah.
Anaheim.
I'm not sure which convention center it is, but it's close to the museum that George is opening up. And I think it's opening up in the same week. So it'll be awesome to go. It'll be awesome to go there for that opening to see George's museum and then going to the 50th anniversary. I really want to go because I think that's probably the last time we'll probably see George at one of those things. It's the 50th. He has to be there. And
I feel like
Harrison.
George doesn't give a shit. He's just like, nah, it's
Well,
ruined, and he just walks away.
he does seem a bit like that, doesn't he? He's
I
kind
don't.
of
I
like
don't
done
want.
with
I
it.
wouldn't want to meet George Lucas, to be honest. I don't.
Yeah.
What am I going to say? I'm in love with your universe. I just want to spend all my time there. And he'd be like, nah, I like Seven Samurai. That's a really good film. That inspired me. Like, I wouldn't want to talk to him about Star Wars because he wouldn't care. He's seen the light up in the people's eyes so much and critique and everything. I feel like it doesn't interest him. He'd just be like, I want to talk about art, and he's supposedly incredibly well read. I just wouldn't want to fawn over him. Like,
Mm.
I wouldn't want to meet Mark Hamill. I don't really care. I feel like people froth him as Luke, but I'm just like, he seems tired. Harrison doesn't care. I separate the actors from the art. I love their characters. I just don't think that they want to meet me, and they wouldn't want to be burdened by me being like, I love you, man.
That's fair. I can like Harrison. I could probably absolutely see that because he seems really done with it. I will say, what's sorry, what's I got his autograph behind me. What's his name? I'm having a blank. 3PO.
Billy D. Williams. Oh, Anthony
Yeah.
Daniels.
Anthony Daniels. Yeah, meeting him was actually kind of cool. He seems to be there. He seems to really get amongst it a little bit. As like one of the
He
old
does.
guys that's still there.
He's one of those guys. I'd like to meet Billy D. I feel like Billy D. I love Lando though. He's like my favorite OT character. I feel like Billy D.
He'd be so cool to
would be
meet.
wild.
Yeah.
Didn't he get flack a while back because he was referring to himself as she? And then when people are like, "You woke bitch," he was like, "I just do that from time to time. I don't know what woke is. I don't believe in woke." And I was like, "I love you. What's wrong with you? Where you just misgender yourself for like he's like, oh Billy, she's quite the gal." You're like, did you? Okay, like
he's actually funny. I remember one celebration. I think it was the London one where he goes up on stage, and I can't remember the hostess that was there, and it was actually his birthday, and she was just like, "Oh, hey, Billy D, nice to meet you." And the first thing he said, it was almost just like, "What have we here?" It was like, "Finally, a beautiful woman," and I was
yeah.
just like, how can you not love this guy?"
Yeah, he's awesome. I still follow his son on Facebook, Corey D. Williams.
He's an
He
actor as well.
played a Weequay when he was like 19 in Return of the Jedi, and does
Yeah.
the convention circuit because of that. Like, and I
Oh,
couldn't
cool.
get over that people paid him because he played like some Weequay that got thrown off a sail barge. You know, how crazy is that? That people have a career like the young Boba Fett, the young actor, the Kiwi kid. He's not a
Yeah.
kid anymore. He's a man.
Mm.
Hey, like, can you imagine just going around signing autographs and they're like, Boba Fett? And he's like, they pay me
He's
$5,000 to be here.
He's actually really cool. He was at the last celebration with Tamora Morrison, and they had one of the photo ops, which was like father and son,
That'd be so
which is cool. Django and Boba. He actually really got into it. He was actually one of the ones that I saw that, and I don't know how they kept that energy up, but he would literally get up and like almost hug everyone that he gave an autograph to. Like he was actually so appreciative of the people going there.
I think I saw Tamara Morrison hug an Australian creator. What's her name?
Rayside.
The Race Side. That's right. They'd been smooching before. They look like they were friends. Yeah.
Yeah. There's a bit of SWOTOR going on in the chat, and Drop
Yeah.
A giving us
Central
his,
was great.
I like that. Never meet your heroes. Drop A says. Has that ever happened to you? Have you ever actually met someone that you've really wanted to, and you're kind of like,
No, not really. A weird story is in 2016 when I was working for Curse, the game company. I had to go because I was living in Costa Mesa, Southern California, to the event for Warcraft, the movie.
yeah, wow.
And so I went with a bunch of influencers. And because we had MMO Champion, I had to ask questions to the WoW people during the day before the actual show. And I had no idea because I don't know high-end WoW. And I got rinsed. They looked at me like, you shouldn't be here. Like I was some fake fan, which is true. I like WoW low level, but You know, I wanted to run around Elwyn Forest knowing what bark was on the trees like a stupid law-hound. I didn't care about high-end gear and crap. Anyway, they threw me in this pit for like the influencers on the red carpet, and I was in a three-piece suit, and it was like 40-degree heat or 100-degree for Americans, whatever. I was cooking for 4 hours, and I was standing next to the dude Leroy Jenkins, and he was like, "I don't even play WoW anymore." And I was like, "What? You're Leroy fucking Jenkins?" And he's like, "I moved on with my life. They just bring me to these events and make me say Leroy Jenkins, and that's my thing." And I'm like, "What?" Jamie Lee
Wow.
Curtis and her then son, now daughter, came up to us, and he started screaming Leroy Jenkins. I'm pretty sure there's a clip of it, and me just standing next to him, like, this guy hates Leroy. Like, he doesn't even like WoW anymore. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, wow.
Also, the red carpet was black, and we were on the side, like all the photographers were on the other side, all the celebrities were coming around, Travis Fimmel and stuff. And I was listening to the cast, the actual people in the movie. They were around the corner while this was happening after they did their rounds, having cigarettes, just bitching, like complaining about everything. They were like, "Oh, can't fucking do this and that," and "Oh, they suck. They didn't take a good picture." I was like, "Ugh." And then Hollywood. Have you been to Hollywood?
Never been to the United States.
Shit hole. Full of debris and just homeless. Like, imagine a picture of the Hollywood sign, and if you poked a hole through it, it's like cardboard, and you look through, and there's human refuse littering the streets. Like, I'd
Ew.
stay there a bit for the EA Play stuff. They used to invite us, and I wouldn't bring my family there after dark. It is the greasiest town. There's something just about Hollywood and that whole machine that's gross, and the people are gross. I don't like it. It's not for me. As a whole, I'm sure there's amazing people. I know that story veered weird, but like, they don't feel real, and they feel very selfish and entitled. And it's the perfect analogy of the whole place. Is the red carpet looks like Tinseltown, but 5 foot away there's like a hobo encampment, and they step over them like human refuse, and you're like, this is gross. The amount of times that I'd have to stay there and do stuff in LA, and I'd be like sketchy. Like, dudes usually don't come at me because of my height and build, but like, I was like, it's America. They can have guns. You don't have guns, idiot. Like, don't.
Yeah.
I stepped out of a dinner one time. It was like a Warner Brothers thing. And this dude came up to me, and he was like, "Hey, man, you got any money?" And it was in a nicer part of town. I'm like, "No, sorry." And he goes, "All right." Like, he was pissed. And I knew he was calculating if he could roll me in the street. Like, I just watched him scan up, and he going, "No, not today." I'm going, fuck. If I got rolled, somehow lost my phone in the States, I'd be cooked.
That sounds scary as fuck, dude.
Yeah,
Was
not
anyone
good.
around you? Was anyone around you there? It'll be like
Middle of the day.
middle of the day.
Yeah. Oh, I got rolled worse
Wow.
than that one time. I was in Boston. This is like the first convention I went to, GDC, I think. I can't remember. And I never seen snow before. And it was 2016 or 2015, and snow, and I'm wearing no jacket. So I look like a tourist idiot. And I'm walking from the convention back to the hotel, regretting my decisions. And I see this little head pop up over a snow embankment. I swear to God, like a bunny. And there was this 4-foot dude from the hood, like, because I'm about to do his voice. He's like, "Hey, I knew you from New York, mate." And I was like, "What the fuck?" I looked around. Street code 101. Anybody says your name, you don't know him, you keep walking. You never engage. Me being an idiot, being in a pretty good mood, I was like, "Hey, what's up? I don't know you." And he had locked in. He scurried over the embankment, 4 foot, nothing. Like, there is no hazard of this dude like taking me out. But he scurried up to me, and he's like, "I know you from New York." And he's talking. His friends kind of coming over, and I'm like, and all the people, the business people, are looking at me like, what an idiot for talking to him. And he goes, "Can I have $1? I need a taxi." And I'm going, "Oh shit. All right, dude." I went into my wallet, didn't have $1, and I had 10. And he goes, "Make it 10.
Oh,
And
Jesus.
I was locked in. And it was pure, like, I don't know what to do. And I just gave it to, like, I didn't know what to do. You know, where like you're too polite and you kind of get caught off guard, and you're just like, I'm breaking. So I just like gave it to him and he walked away and I was like, fuck, I got rolled.
Do you reckon he would have been
10
violent
bucks.
with you if you said no?
No, no.
No.
I was just too much of a bitch. I'm one of these people, if somebody catches me off guard socially, sometimes, where you just like, I don't know what to do. That was one of those moments, the rare
Yeah.
moments in my life where I just froze because I was like, you're breaking the social pact right now.
Yeah. I can confirm. That's an accurate description of California and Hollywood. That's why I'm a Texan.
Oh, yeah. Texas is gorgeous. I went to Babes in Dallas, Fort Worth for the best fried chicken and biscuits and gravy. Oh, my God. The Texans do it really well. I like Austin as well. I know it's a bit not cool to say that, but I thought Austin was cool. I really like Texas.
Why is it not cool to say Austin's cool?
Austin's the very liberal city in a very red state. It's like goes counter and it's very weird and artsy, but I think that like the food and I like the fact that like they go against the grain. Like I lived in Huntsville, Alabama, which is very blue because NASA's there in a red state. So it's very different to Alabama. So I thought it has the highest PhD per capita because that's where our office was. So I thought I loved it. I love Alabama, but I didn't see Alabama true. It wasn't like redneck shit, but you go 10 minutes out of the city and suddenly the banjo's playing. You go, oh, I don't live in Bama. I live in Huntsville.
Yeah. So
Anyway,
Wars Paxson. Sorry, go on.
Sorry, go ahead. No, you go ahead.
No, I was just going to ask with Star Wars Paxson, his last comment. He said he got rolled because they wanted more when he gave him a smoke. I mean, did he want money or did he just want the smoke? Like they just rolled.
Like this dude didn't threaten me.
Yeah.
Like I had this skinny bum come up to me because Curse, which got acquired by Twitch, Amazon, and then Fandom later, still is in Huntsville, and it was above a BB&T, which is a bank. So I have a code to the bank I'd put in on weekends, go up to the office because they give you food. It's like a play center. If you work for a gaming company, they treat you like toddlers because they want to keep you happy. So I loved it. I'd eat all the food and work and edit videos, do Dash Star, do work, whatever. They had a bank teller at the front. I took out money one time and this hobo drifted up to me. Again, he wasn't scary. He's like 70, skinniest dude with no teeth ever, the whitest, like most Huntsvillian guy. And he said, can I have some money? And again, I was like, just find it difficult when I get locked into people to say no, because I clearly had a lot of money. I just pulled it out. I said, yeah, I gave him $20. And he grabbed me and almost like for a hug, and he whispered in my ear and goes, roll tide, brother. Because everybody loved Roll Tide. It was the football team, the college football there. Everybody said War Eagle or Roll Tide. And I was like, Jesus Christ.
That's I love that.
Roll Tide. Roll Tide.
He's a little sexual with it. He's like, Roll Tide, my brother.
Oh, he whispered it. He's like, just wooed me with it. I was like, no. And you know, it's funny. We got this Home Depot in Australia. It's called Bunnings. We got a Home Depot called Bunnings here. And this dude from Georgia, sweet Georgia, was working the checkout. I said, I lived in Huntsville, Alabama, blah, blah, blah. And as I left, I thought I'd give him a little piece of home. And I said, Roll Tide. And he said, what the fuck are you talking about? And I was like, everybody knows in the South.
That's fucking hilarious.
I could not believe it.
Is this the new rule of three? No.
Yes, it's the rule of two. I can't take that. The rule of Sigma. I would love
the rule of Sigma.
I'd love to do more shows with you consistently. We'll talk about this off camera. Because the thing about the rule of three that I want to give people more, and obviously with my jaw surgery, took me out for January. But I'm better now. I'm home, and I really like. Rule of three is hard because all three of us have schedules, whereas Adriano and I talk every day. We kind of keep up to date with everything, and I would love to do something to fill in a little bit more. So I'd love to do a show like weekly, bi-weekly, whatever, when rule of three is not going, when it's going, I don't care. And just kind of get up with the news and chatting a more positive, inclusive rhetoric, if you will.
Yeah.
Star Wars love.
I'll be down for that 100%. You look well healed up, Dash. He does. He looks a lot better.
Yeah, I think look the same. You can't tell that it's happened, which is good. My cheek is actually cut up from these fucking braces. I got 8 more weeks. Only dude I've ever met or know of that has braces, and I had straight teeth before. Do you know how annoying that is to like?
Do they give you the wax still? I remember when I had braces when I was younger, they used to give me wax to put on the braces and keep them out.
Yeah, but I don't use it. My mouth doesn't usually get cut up, but for some reason I'm at the end stretch. My mouth is right now I've cut all of my mouth, and so that's why I'm pushing against it all the time because I'm just it hurts a lot. But I'm like, you know, who cares? Who gives a shit? The only bad thing is going to the dentist and there's like 12-year-olds in the chair next to you because they got like 5 chairs. This like cattle production, and I'm looking over, and the women talk to me. They go like the nurses. They go, "Oh, are you okay? Does this hurt?" And I'm like, "Just get it done." Like, I love that you talk to me like I'm 10 and you pretend you care, but like, just hurt me and let's get this over with. They're like, "It's not meant to hurt." And I'm like, "Bullshit. When does a dentist feel good?"
I remember it sucked actually being in the chair. Every time they tightened the braces, I couldn't even speak for like a week. I hate that shit.
Yeah, it doesn't feel great, and none of it's good. But it'll finally be over, and then I have to
You get
get
a
new
free
teeth.
lollipop.
No, I'm gonna get new teeth. Unfortunately, all the back ones are ground down. All my problems, and be aware of this, is because I was grinding and clenching at night and I had no idea. And it wore my teeth and bite down in such a significant way. My teeth have to be replaced. And so I went to the dentist one time recently and I was like, hey, I think I got some cavities. And they were like, we need to cut your teeth in half to reshape your bite. And I was like, my teeth aren't big teeth. I don't have horse teeth. That's going to look dumb. And they're like, well, otherwise you're going to have to pay tens of thousands of dollars to get it all fixed. And I was like, I hate dentistry so much.
Cut your teeth in half. That sounds
That's what they
excruciating.
offered. And you know, the funny thing is they did that to my brother too. He had huge teeth and they had to give him break. He had real big gaps and stuff. And my dad had funny teeth. My teeth, I thought were like I was clucking my tongue because they were straight, and I thought, I'm, you know, God's plan here. Actually, while we're talking, I'll actually pull up a picture so you can see just how straight my teeth were before this happened, and you'll be like, really, you got braces and your teeth were like that? It's so dumb. Oh my god! Why doesn't this show screen share? Like I said that like it's your fault. Why doesn't it show screen share, Adriano?
I'm not sure. If I click join chat, will that kick me out?
Why would you join chat?
I'm sure. It just lets me join the chat.
Which chat?
The one here on StreamYards.
Uh,
I'm not going to click it just in case.
This is a dumbass poster. That's my teeth before. I got the Captain America helmet. Just look at the straightness. Ignore my stupid face. That's my teeth. Pre-braces.
Yeah,
And
they're
my
straight as
jaw
fuck.
looks the same. Like my head looks the same. Usually they get this surgery when people have like weak chins, you know, like that. It's like the one that drags it forward. So I'm just like, I already had a strong chin before. I'm just like, wow, really? You have to cut my shit up? Great. I don't know. Have you seen like what they did? I got it on my phone somewhere.
You sent me some photos. I remember when just after your surgery.
Oh my god, it is just amazing. Like, I don't know if you can see this. Is that too blurry?
Yeah.
There's titanium in there.
There we go.
See all the titanium in the bottom and top? That's all metal titanium. Those holes is where they cut. That's literally they cut 2 places here and over the top of my teeth, and then they use titanium to screw it back.
That's wild, dude.
Yeah.
They scammed Dash for hired dentist.
I I shouldn't have social media with a stupid picture like that. I don't even know what I was thinking.
That's a
I was
class
so
photo,
bad.
though.
That's so fun. I was so happy with myself, and because look at a big ass head, I like jammed it on. I was like on a belt, like shoehorned it on.
Do you know what that reminds me of? So embarrassingly, when I was like, I don't know, I was a teenager. Do you remember when the Ali G movie came up?
Yeah.
And he had that stupid fucking cap.
No, you didn't wear that.
For some reason, I remember before I left school, I knew there was a place in the city that sold this dumb shit. I go to my mum, I'm like, can you pick up this hat for me? And she's just like, okay. And she came home and she's like, is this what you're fucking looking for? And I put it on. I was like, that's exactly it. And I went upstairs and I was just like, I'm gonna look like the coolest kid ever. And I put it on and I just went, no, put it on again. I still have it in my house.
Well,
I got to show you that.
I don't think you can top what I did. In my hip hop phase, as we all went through, my friend
Yeah.
Majuli wore
Majuli.
an oversized. It had like, you remember those foil cards that shined?
Mhm.
That, but the letters FB that shined for FUBU.
Do you have photos of it?
Oh no, I wish I did. And because I was living in the city, you know, my friends, very multicultural Australia. So like there was no African Americans, but everybody was mixed. So it kind of, you know, we all listened to hip hop was fine. Then I moved to the country for the last 2 years of school and everybody was white and listened to Linkin Park. I got rinsed. I got so bad. They were like, hey, FUBU. And I'm like, fuck. I don't know. It was a weird time. It was a bad time for fashion. I'll tell you that much.
100%. I've got a Fat Pizza shirt, actually. Star Wars Paxson.
Oh, see you, Central. It's always great to see you. Congrats on the baby. I didn't even know it was a dad. I should have paid more attention.
Congratulations, dude. Yeah, nice.
Yeah, next time we're going to wear, what were they? The Kappa outfits with the two girls back to back, the black and the Adidas?
I've got a full white Kappa tracksuit that I never threw out just because I wore that once at school and I couldn't remember how many people used to have those tracksuits. And I remember just like the other day, my mum was just like, you need to come over and like clean out your old room. Like just donate all your old clothes. And she pulls out that tracksuit and she goes, the fuck are you going to do with this? And I said, that's my memory. And I've kept it. Got it.
It's going to be
I'll wear it on stream. I'll wear it on stream one day.
Speaking of which, we're going to wrap it up. We're talking about stuff. I like this. I like to branch out and to talk, but 2 a.m.
Yeah.
We've covered a lot. Appreciate you all for hanging out. The Star Wars love. We're going to create a nice Star Wars hub community, positive. The bros commiserate, hang out. I love it. That's all I want.
Mm-hmm.
My people. Any final words, Mr. Sweep?
No, thank you for having me on here, guys. It was great hanging out with all of you. Hope to see you guys again soon. It was awesome.
Make sure to check out the link. I'll see if I can post it again. Discord, play some SWOTOR. It's very small now, but I play daily, so I'm more than welcome. Anyway, as always, thank you so much for watching, and may the force be with you. Always.
See you guys.
Damn it, I missed the end stream when I